Testing. Oh, welcome to the Juice is Loose. Starring Terminator Juice.
There we go. OBS doesn't even update. It just randomly disables the freaking audio. I didn't hook up any other audio sources. I didn't like any new peripherals, nothing. No new mics, no nothing. It just, and then it says the bitrate 0 is lower than recommended. What the fuck? Let me check.
I mean, from what I saw, it
It's
didn't
at
look like it, but
10,000 kilobytes per second. Still, that didn't change.
nah, it looks fine on the stream. It looks.
All right. As I was trying to say, I was muted. Um, I had the chat up in the left side of the screen for a while now, but I guess I forgot that OBS I had it all cropped. So it was like on my screen, I thought everybody was reading it, but I close OBS so I don't have my, so I'm not distracted by looking over to my OBS screen. But yeah, what's up? We got Ayers, we got Mohammed, and we got other people watching. But say hi in the chat. It's probably just gonna be Robert. I haven't seen Terrell. Hasn't. I mean, I think he shared a link when pre-orders went live a few days ago. I think that was the last time. And I'm seeing like a delay on my screen with my audio too, which is what the hell.
Oh, on the because I don't see it. It's
on Discord. Like literally on Discord, I'm seeing a delay.
I see you fine though.
But on my screen, it's slightly delayed, and it's like it shouldn't be on my screen. It should be perfect.
Yeah,
I'm paying for damn Nitro.
Yeah, the complete opposite. You think it'd be me? Actually.
Yeah. Either way, with just the two of us, the camera quality is better though.
Oh yeah.
What's up, Lenny? So retro bailed. T just randomly, yeah, by the way, I'm on vacation in Florida. Like, what the hell, dude? I thought you just like, was it spring break? It was spring break last week here.
Yes, so maybe.
But
I don't really know. I don't know when spring break is anymore.
Retro dropped out, so he's gonna have to listen. We had quite the discussion about the Switch 2 editions, and I figured it out. Retro's so adamant about making sure we know that Metroid Prime 4 is a Switch 1 game that he got so wrapped up into that he couldn't understand what we were talking about. Like he didn't. He just. Yeah. It's a Switch 1. No shit, it's a Switch 1 game, but it's also.
Well, I keep thinking about it. I kept thinking about it. Like literally, we'd be talking about a completely different subject, but if you notice, every time he talks, his next words would be, "That's because Metroid Prime 4 is a Switch 1 game," and you're like, all right.
We were talking about the Switch 2 editions and if they're playable on Switch 1 or not, and he's kept talking about it's a Switch 1 game.
Mario Party. He's talking about
I think you and him had a little discussion about what you consider it, because you said the Switch 2 upgrades. You can't just say it's just a Switch 1 game because it's a cross-gen game, just like Breath of the Wild. They've had Switch 2 development kits probably at least a year and a half.
Yeah, I just and my thing is, like, there's a big difference between Breath of the Wild on Switch and Metroid Prime 4 on Switch 2. Like, how, like, that, like...
The difference between
it was a straight-up port. There was no increase in hardware like that for power, really.
Honestly, they did all they could. They did 900p versus 720p. That's really all the Switch had over the Wii U.
Well, Metroid Prime 4 I mean, is literally it's a generational leap. Like,
oh, yeah. Of course, you look at cherry pick and screenshots. Somebody tried to make it that Killzone 2 looks better than Metroid Prime 4 because it was the fake. See, it was like the CGI bullshot, like a screenshot of that, and
they'll be doing the same thing with they took a screenshot I saw of Marathon and then they compared it to Metroid Prime 4 and they're like, look how much better Metroid Prime 4 looks over Marathon. I'm like,
a PS5 game.
But half the screen was like of like some.
It was like zoomed in of just like a tree or something too.
Yeah, I'm
it's
like,
so
all right,
stupid.
come on, guys.
I don't know if
it's console war stuff just going back and forth.
I don't know if Sandstorm's gonna be here, but I gotta call some of the people that he interacts with. Digital Foundry initially was like, we don't see any evidence of DLSS in our analysis, And everyone's like, "Oh my God, no DLSS! Look at this thing's a beast. It doesn't even need DLSS. Imagine what it's gonna do with DLSS."
I
And then
thought so. I honestly thought that
and then
though. I was
Cyberpunk
like,
was like, or CD Projekt Red was, no, it's using DLSS in
yeah.
every version, every mode, handheld, and everything. And they're like, "Oh, these guys are frauds." And it's like, "Oh, well, you praised it when they said something that you thought was positive and made the Switch 2 look better, but because they made a mistake and they admitted it, but now they're just frauds. They don't know what they're talking about." It's like, oh, because that's really, I'm when they showed how they determined DLSS, and they showed examples of like the games where the edges are all like wavy, like they have like a weird, like almost like two lines kind of. I don't know how to describe it, but
Okay.
um, and the Switch 2 version of they had to. It was only like in one shot with like a telephone pole in the background. I had to zoom in to see it, and I know people are gonna. I'm sure the same guys get butthurt when they heard this, but they said the DLSS is going from a low resolution. They don't know what it is, but it's fairly low, and like the motion blur and that type of stuff. Some of the effects are at like really low quality, so it just kind of almost masks the edges of the DLSS. And they said it was just really hard to tell. And once they knew to look, they had to look really hard to find it. And it's just like, yeah, we're not used to DLSS being used at such low resolutions, and then like the effects that go on top of it being at low resolution, and kind of masked it. But basically, what it proves is, it takes DLSS to get basically, around PS4 level visuals, and it's like, yeah,
I forgot.
that's the that's the advantage of having
Yo.
modern features. It's still at the end of the day, not not we know there's parts from the DLC that they didn't put on PS4, and it sounds like it's just very demanding CPU heavy stuff, and we know the PS4
Yeah.
has a shit CPU, and that's another advantage of the Switch 2. It's not an amazing CPU, but it's definitely way better than PS4. And but yeah, so at the end of the day, I was shocked to hear that, because
I
I
was shocked too, to be honest.
I was like, I didn't think it would be implemented like already. So that's pretty much
And hey, I mean,
I'm gonna say that's,
all,
they didn't say this, but I imagine that's the only way Cyberpunk is gonna be would be running on Switch 2. What if
but well, I mean, to be fair though, is that also, I think, I mean, we'll see, but CD Projekt Red, they still got some technically months of work left that they're doing to stabilize here and there. We'll see how it comes out. I mean, you know, I think it'll be fine. In the end of the day, I think
yeah,
it'll be fine.
I think without DLSS though, I'd be curious what it actually
But that's
look like.
great that they got it.
Mm-hmm.
It's that's what
Would it look
we've
like
been.
The
I
Witcher
mean,
3 on Switch? Would it be?
exactly. Well, that's to say we talked about this a while ago. It was like with the fact that NVIDIA DLSS is a part of Switch 2 is going to be a big factor in pushing out some more ports for the console. It's going to help it out, which is great. So.
Yeah, and it's
But I
just
know others thought about it as in a negative way, where it's like, oh shit, it's like, oh, this is with DLSS. Oh no.
yeah. I mean, and even Hogwarts Legacy looks cleaner than the PS4 version at a lower resolution, but imagine that's running something too. Like they didn't.
Yeah, I'd imagine most of these are gonna, and I would expect them to. Like they should take advantage of the fact that they can do
Yeah.
it.
If that gives us good image quality at a decent frame rate, that's what it takes.
Mhm.
Then that's what it takes. And
Which is good.
unlike the Nintendo first party games, which we don't know, but
Yeah, I'll be very curious to see if they use DLSS at all.
they might be using something for like Metroid Prime, but I don't think so. Just based off what people were saying from the direct feed, like not the YouTube video, but like direct feed files that they get requests. The media can request like a direct feed file, that's not like YouTube compressed and stuff. And it's like, it's just funny to me because, again, I don't know why people. I know there's some people that try to paint it as a negative, but the people who seem to be like mad about the idea that Switch 2 is going to get you around PS4 level performance. Like, I don't understand why that's a bad thing. I mean, it's bigger, but it's just as thin as the Switch. It's not some, you know, big home console. Like, it's a portable machine. It's super impressive to see what games look like. Street Fighter 6 looks really good. I wish the whole game was on a cartridge instead of the damn key card, because that's a negative for me.
Does that have crossplay?
I don't think so. Apparently,
sure.
It says it's Season 1 and 2 edition. It said 26 fighters. I looked because I played PS5 version on Saturday, and it's $30 for just the Season 2 for the characters for Season 2 for 4 characters. Some music, some costumes. You don't even get the stages. You have to pay 50. Or it's either 49.
Wait, what?
$49.99 or $59.99 to get everything. And I don't even know if that includes the Season 1 characters or not. I couldn't quite figure it out.
Really?
It's $50 on top of a $60 game. I only paid $40.
That's some steep DLC.
So if the Switch 2 version $60 with all the characters,
with
like
all that, that's really good then, to be fair.
That's probably why they put it on the key card instead of paying another $10 to Nintendo for the 64 gig cartridge. But yeah, I was like, I'm gonna pick up a couple characters, and I'm like, not for these prices, because then you have to buy like the coins, like almost like a Fortnite Battle Pass bullshit.
Or like Call of Duty,
and they don't even sell it in multiples that the characters are. So like a character's 350 coins, they sell 250 or 610 coins. You can't just buy the
those
350.
bastards, man.
So it's like $11, and then I'll have coins left over that I would never use. But
Exactly.
the cool thing is you play the single player, and they added Terry and is it Mia? Mai? What's her name? Mai? Is it just Maya or Mai?
Mai.
It's just Mai.
They're like, you have full interactions with them. You can fight with their style, add their move sets. There's a specials where you hit L1, R1, and they join your fight for about 10 seconds. You can have Terry and Mai join. You can fight against them. So it's like they're in the game. Other than you just can't play as that character, but you can make your character have all that exact move set. I mean, you could make your character look as close to them as possible. So, but it's overpriced, and it disappoints me because the game's so good. Capcom's been on such a good roll lately, and they're just really, this is some very ridiculous pricing structure. So for Switch 2 owners that pick it up, it's not the game's not on the cartridge, but if it is the Season 1 and 2, that's a good value, because I think it's confirmed at $59.99. I believe I saw.
Yeah, it is.
That game is so good.
Which, to be fair, that would be a really good price in that case.
That game is so good. I got like 27 hours in the single player.
Damn,
I haven't beat it yet. It's just fun, man.
Damn, and you haven't beat it yet?
And I haven't even like gotten all the characters. They count. You go to them, you find them in the world or whatever, and they're like your mentor, and you get these cool cut scenes and all these cool cinematics. And I only have it for like half the characters. And I mean, I'm just having fun. I played for like 3 hours. I didn't play a single like arcade mode. I just played the what's it called? World Tour, I think.
Yeah, World Tour.
And I like my character that I created. She's a cool girl.
And you go like super goofy with the character creation.
Oh yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah, it's pretty goofy.
I sent you that screenshot or that video. Terry's in the game, like he is so jacked. Like his arms look like Captain Falcon's legs in GX. They're huge.
That's right.
It's ridiculous, but it works. It just works in that game, and his cinematics they're super cool. And then Mai, she's I didn't realize. I knew she was from. I realized later, recently she was from Fatal Fury or whatever, but I didn't realize she was, quite like that.
Oh, you didn't know?
I didn't know.
Really?
That's like her pose.
You about to say that notorious pose that you can only do in certain.
That's like fan art, like level.
Really?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
You don't even need to make fan art. They already provided for you.
Exactly. She is like, now that's like borderline. No woman has those assets in that like quite to that level. But anyway, it's a great game.
I mean,
And
hey, I mean, well, okay, you see all those characters. No one has muscles that goes like this.
yeah,
Like that huge, you know. So, hey, that's why it's Street Fighter. Yeah.
sure. The engine doesn't have issues with faces. What the hell are you talking about? I think it has some of the best faces. It's not to the level of Death Stranding or anything, but like if you see the
kind of see that.
if you see the models, like the face models for the characters, like they look almost
all the
identical.
Resident Evil games are some of the best, I would say.
For RE Engine, I wouldn't say for Street Fighter 6 specifically.
No, well,
Like,
yeah, Street Fighter 6, they're not going for realistic, like.
Yeah, I don't think that one really.
But like,
I know there was a
Resident
couple. Yeah, Resident Evil.
Devil May Cry,
say,
Resident Evil. Those are they take actual people and they scan them, their bodies and faces, and they look just like the Jill character model looks just like the model. Like there's no, oh well, this is it's high res now and it shows all their flaws. Like no, they must just hire people that look better than some of the Western studios, because yeah, when you just take somebody's face and you like super bright lights and no makeup and stuff, yeah, they're gonna look different than they normally look. Just like put like a bright light on us and take photos, our skin's gonna look different than it looks like to the human eye. But either way, I disagree. I think they do really good with faces.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I think there's some of the most realistic looking ones is actually pretty crazy.
Yeah, what's the other one? Like Claire Redfield, I believe. She looks, I think her model. I think I've seen her model, and it's like spot on. Not quite, like I said, not quite Death Stranding level. Like Death Stranding 2 for sure. Like that's Norman Reedus. Like there's no question.
Yeah.
That's just Norman Reedus' face. That's Leah Sedu's face. What's that? Margaret Qualley, whatever her name is.
I don't remember the cast.
You don't know her? I figured you would. She's in a lot
I'm
of.
sure I did, but Dakota Fanning?
No, the Margaret Qualley, I think her name is.
Isn't she?
She's in the first one. Elle Fanning's in
the first. Elle Fanning, yeah, Elle Fanning, yeah.
But talking about Amiibos, I didn't see anything about that.
Oh yeah, the price increases because they
for
all
what,
got
for which Amiibos? The Street Fighter?
New and the Zelda ones.
They bumped up that too?
They all went up by $10. So
$10 for Amiibos?
Yeah, so Zelda, all the Zelda ones went from 20
what
to
are the Zelda
30.
Ones?
The new generation. So Riju, not Tebo. What's his child's name?
What are they new?
I thought it's actually
yeah,
new.
they're new. Yeah, they're new. They haven't even come out yet.
Really?
I saw that, but I thought they already released it and they were just re-releasing them.
No. And then the Street Fighter ones are the ones that are coming
out
keep for
up with Amiibos,
and they don't. The Street Fighter characters.
The Street Fighter ones are
good.
$40.
But like those are I understand Luke's the face of the game, but the other two, like Kimberly and I forget who the third one is, like
Jamie. Jamie was probably the weirdest
because they're the
one
new
of
character. Are they the only new characters?
Jamie's an older character, and Kimberly's a brand new character.
Yeah, and she's general. Honestly, I don't know what they went a little funky with her face. Like it looks off, like compared to the rest. I don't know what it is, but she just looks the most fake, like cartoony.
Street Fighter Amiibo?
No. So Street Fighter's original Amiibo prices were $30, and then they went up 10, so they're now 40.
I didn't know Amiibos were even $20.
Well, it's a 3-pack. It's a 3-pack.
Oh,
no, it's not.
Well,
they're
Street Fighter's 3-pack. They showed it as a 3-pack.
No, it's individuals.
I ain't gonna argue it, but
I'll get the link.
Wait, is it as in? Wait, because I actually didn't see a 3-pack when I looked it up. I actually saw.
Yeah, I only saw individuals.
They're charging $40 each.
Yes.
That's
no
crazy.
way.
Yeah. I just saw it.
Nobody better buy those.
Yeah, here we go. Let me grab the picture and post it in the Hangout chat.
Were Amiibos like $12?
No, they were going up to 15. Like the Pyramid.
You can get a 3-pack for $30 normally. There's no fucking way. If anybody buys a $40 Amiibo,
probably like the Inkling ones, right? It was like Inkling.
Yeah, Inkling with the.
Probably Big Man. Did they have one for Splatoon 3? Big Man.
There you go. It's in Hangouts.
Just slap people if they pay $40 for a single Amiibo.
Yeah, but hang on. The thing that's GameStop specifically.
yeah, what the fuck?
So the
I
Zelda
didn't even
ones
know
were
they went up. So hold on. So they were originally 20. Was Zelda
yeah.
also?
Zelda, all the Zelda
I
ones were
don't. When did
20.
they go to 20? The amiibos.
That would have been the first ones, I think.
Well, I guess they had a few though. Wasn't like
I'm
the
trying to
Guardian
think. I'm trying
probably.
to think. In what
The Guardian was probably a little
Why?
bit more.
I don't understand
the
why people are
Guardian? I
still
think the
buying
Guardian.
Amiibos.
I thought the Guardian was like 15.
That's like the best one. And then
That was also
well, actually,
huge.
they had the big Yarn Yoshi, which I still want. That was like $40. I remember
No,
that. It was like
I thought it was just 30.
or 30, but it was still, that was like the most
Yeah,
expensive one.
it was the
Or
highest
the
at the
not
time.
the mega Yarn Yoshi. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, the fat one.
Big one, thick one.
Yeah, okay, then yeah, that one was whatchamacallit. That was
Mega Yarn Yoshi. Let me see.
yeah, that one I think was 40. Yeah, on
Damn, you know how
GameStop.
much it costs now, man? On
How
eBay, I
much?
can only see hundreds of dollars, bro.
It's
Hundreds.
probably because they don't sell it anymore. Yeah,
Shit.
GameStop has a bunch of the pre-order stuff up, and yeah, the Street Fighter ones are all 40, which I don't know what I don't remember what they're supposed to do. I don't remember what they're supposed to do. And then
Are you picking up any of the Amiibos? Is this something you thinking about?
the only one I wanted were maybe the Zelda ones, and specifically, but see, even with Zelda, the one I mainly wanted was Riju, and maybe
Read you.
Riju and maybe Sidon. Those were like the two I was thinking about.
To be fair, they're all great characters, though.
They all
Like,
are, but my two favorites were Riju and Sidon. Although I will say, young Yonobo kind of snuck in a little bit for
he
me.
looks great.
Um,
Although he's got the thing up his ass, like they all have. Well, Tulin
yeah,
has the thing up
I
his
think
ass.
Tulin's a little bit better because Tulin's flying, so and it's clear, so it's not as pronounced. Rejuice is gonna put it in angle, so that one's not bad. It's like an action pose, so I'm fine
Yeah.
with that one.
Yeah, I mean,
But yeah, all the amiibos went up, just like all the accessories went up.
look again. I said it in the chat before that it's like I would much rather
That's
the
the lesser of two
accessories
evils.
go up. Yeah, I'd much rather accessories go up than the console because for sure they were thinking, all right, how we need something's going to get a huge hit, so we need to put something somewhere, and they put it towards the accessories, which I think makes
Yeah.
way more sense.
I would have, yeah, that would I would have preferred. If you're gonna hit something, hit the accessories.
Hit
Where
the thing that you don't have to actually buy. You
although
know what I
I
mean?
did, I've heard. Side note, I don't know if anyone's talked about it yet, but I've heard really good talks from the Pro Controller, the second one.
Yeah, Juice sent in like a video the other day, and I didn't even hear about it until I saw that video, and they were saying that these two, they said, and they review controls all the time, and that was their best feeling controller they ever felt. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
That sounds.
that's the only thing I might be tempted to get at launch, or at least
I won't
near
get it at
launch.
launch, but I'll definitely get it at some point throughout the generation. Because I mean, I lived the Pro Controller until 2019, until Luigi Mansion. So like, I have the Pro Controller. I'll just continue using
Switch
it. And I really do
also
want to use
said-
it.
I like what you said only until 2019. You mean 2 years in? So
Yeah, that's 2027. We got time.
So,
so in the other,
were you talking about that
that's why for
video
me,
where
I
those
wanted to-
guys were raving about the
Yeah,
sticks?
the
And
one- yeah,
Switch
I
Up
was
said
talking-
this, or Nintendo Life. I think it was Nintendo Life. Alex from Nintendo Life was
shit.
like trying to describe how smooth the sticks are.
Yeah, I
And
want to understand what he means by what
Yeah,
they
because he's
mean
saying
by
But-
like they feel like they're floating. Like you
it's
don't
just
hear
like
them hit.
there's no. It sounds like it just, or if you go in a circle, it's just smooth and it just moves super smoothly. Like
Well, they're saying like they don't
Does that
feel like
interest you
when it
more,
hits
Juice?
the edge.
I was getting it either way.
Oh, you were. All right.
Yeah, I'm not.
He's like,
playing, I'm not playing no
he's a-
grip.
You know, T, if
You
you're
don't
on
want to just
vacation,
use your
maybe you
Pro
should enjoy
Controller,
your
your
vacation,
Switch
man.
One? You don't want to use
No.
your Switch One Pro Controller?
Well then,
Not really?
okay. Here's the only scenario where I don't buy the Pro Controller if that audio jack doesn't work for a microphone for the game chat. Then, then I'll
okay.
say fuck it. I'm not buying it. But there's the other thing that annoys me, and it's not like I said. Everything stuff's expensive. All that we know, technologies go up in price and stuff, but I hate seeing the stupid comparisons to the Xbox Elite and the PlayStation Edge controller. Oh, you could play about an $85 controller. These are $200. Like, okay, why don't
that does exist though.
Why don't you compare the Switch Pro controller to the standard DualSense, which has adaptive triggers, gyro, touchpad, why are you only comparing it to the Edge? Because it has the 2 programmable buttons on the back, doesn't have analog triggers, doesn't have adaptive triggers. Like, it's just say, yeah, it sucks, it's a little expensive, but I'm gonna get it anyway. Like, making ridiculous comparisons. Yeah, the Elite controller, it's an optional, I never believed in the Elite controller. My buddy bought one, and it's like, oh, you can replace the thumbsticks, you can add the paddles and stuff, and I'm like,
Paddles.
it's not $200. I'm sorry, whatever it was, 180 or something. They have a core version, which is like $100, and it's just a stripped down. It's basically not much above a standard Xbox controller. Still takes AA batteries, like that. Yeah, that's ridiculous. $85 is, I think, is overpriced. I don't care how smooth the sticks are. I think it's overpriced, and I can say that. I'm still gonna get it. It sucks, but what are you supposed to do? Am I supposed to wait till Black Friday? Hopefully it goes on sale or something. I could. What's up, T?
T.
Oh shit.
T.
Let's make sure the audio's going.
Vacation, man.
Oh yeah, we hear you. Down in Florida.
We'll be talking about my.
Enjoy your vacation, man.
This is my niece's room.
Yeah. Yo, that's hilarious.
You didn't even say nothing. All of a sudden, you're in Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, nice.
Uh-oh.
I had my vacation. I'm just chilling at home now, so it's not like I'm coming here. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, tell you guys. Sorry, I didn't think about it. You're not important to me.
Damn.
I thought you were gonna be like probably the most likely to agree with me on the Mario Kart Direct, so I'm glad you came. I don't know if you will be though.
No,
maybe.
I think Terrell probably will too.
Oh, I completely agree.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a second.
I think I saw your thing. Okay.
But yeah, we're just talking about some of the accessory prices. The Pro controller, like, I mean, it sucks that it's $85. It sounds like it's a really nice controller. They did add the programmable buttons that I guess each game it'll store separately. Like, what if you want it to be in one game, like Breath of the Wild, you want it to be the jump button and the run button. It'll save it for that, and then you boot up Mario Kart, and it'll be a different button. So,
I didn't know it does that.
I do want to ask this then. I know we're saying 85 is too high. That's if the headphone jack does let you use like a proper mic with it. How much do you think it should have been priced at?
I mean, probably.
That you would have been like, okay.
I think if it was,
already pushed it.
I think you're replacing the Switch controller. I guess the audio jack. I mean, that's a pretty big improvement if it does do what we hope, like lets you do the game chat and have like a higher quality mic for that. And hear the people. I don't know. Maybe if it doesn't do that, if it's just game audio, then that's a fail to me because
that's nuts to me. But it is Nintendo.
But it's this new Nintendo. I think I'm not as skeptical or doubting everything now as I was before the Switch.
I will always, unfortunately, and skeptical of Nintendo until they do.
But yeah, my rule now is just like I have with other companies. You're gonna give me a strong generation where you're consistently doing what you're supposed to be doing. And if I don't get a strong generation where that happens, then I'm always gonna have a level of skepticism going into any new generation with them.
And it's like, what is new in the Joy-Cons that makes? I mean, they're bigger, but that weren't really...
Well, the bigger, the mouse functionality, and
it does have
there's
the
HD Rumble too. Supposedly, it is like better feeling Rumble. Like from what people have been saying, like for like Mario Kart, that actually
it's a different. They use a different. I saw the
like haptic,
the tour thing, and it showed it's a different mechanism, but that necessarily mean it's more expensive. But yeah, it does have, the different sticks, I guess, and the IR.
Well, we also got to remember the extra, like for the release for the Pro Controller, for example, the extra $5. That's tariff hell. So really, their original plan was to be like, hey, we'll put it at 80, which I'm not in love with.
Honestly, the Switch Pro Controller was $74.99 the day I bought it at Target. I think Target marked it up because it was it was $69.99 every other time I saw it.
Yeah.
And that was 8 years ago. So just with inflation alone, obviously that gets you probably over 85. I didn't love spending that back then, but I still use the controller 8 years later. I guess it was the investment was worth it, but at the time it sucked.
Yeah, I mean, I bought it. Remember, I bought a knockoff, and then I bought the legit one, which I should have just bought from the beginning. Was the regular one?
So with the new magnets and stuff, how do you expect these Chinese companies to make new Joy-Cons with grips and stuff? Like whatever the
You mean as far as like knockoff Joy-Cons?
You think you're gonna get like split pad pro stuff right
Absolutely.
away?
Yeah.
It might take a minute. Not crazy long, but it should take a minute.
I mean, it's just a CAD file away from somebody doing something, and
Yeah.
Well, they got to make the metal. The only thing that has I don't know if
happened.
the magnets are in the Switch itself. I think because the buttons are just the LRs, whatever they're called, are metal. So they
Yeah,
just
there has to be magnets.
They would just have to have the metal in the controller for the buttons, and that would be the only requirement for it to attach. I imagine they're going to be fairly expensive, though. I don't think there's going to be, obviously with the cost of everything, tariffs coming from China, those peripherals are going to be fairly expensive. But $95 for the Joy-Con 2, that's pretty high. Like that took me off guard.
Yeah, I mean it's high, but again, like I mean, Trump put in like a 200-something% tariff. He went crazy right now. Like,
and those must be coming from China because they have the Switch 2s are being made in Taiwan, I believe, or
I think it was good that they were able to avoid the console getting screwed because I feel like
it's Taiwan is the console, the accessories are China apparently. But
this is so stupid. Oh, this is so stupid.
It's the lesser of two evils. That's why I look at it as.
But what is the price? But what's the price in other like in Europe and stuff like for the controllers?
No, they kept. That's why it's only what I've noticed is so far what I've seen the accessories are only higher in the U.S. because of our president.
which is interesting because I think when the other countries like when I saw the stuff for PS5 where it got more expensive in certain countries, it was the opposite. The U.S. was the only country I think that wasn't affected.
And for
like
the reason why they did that, I think, is because the U.S. is like their biggest market, and they probably don't want to risk.
But they only raised it on the digital version, which is weird. And then the disc drive got reduced, so they're trying to balance it out. But why the digital? I wonder what the thinking is.
Digital's the same price now as the physical, which is what
it's crazy. Like that makes no sense.
That doesn't make any sense.
Didn't they also raise PSN? I thought too.
PS Plus, yeah, they also raised PS Plus by a decent chunk. So it's
yeah, it's a decent amount. I don't
just the standard.
Explain why.
What happened?
I understand why physical. I understand why physical devices and things like that. But why is some digital service being raised? Can somebody explain that?
I don't get that either. That seemed like
the second time they did it this generation or whatever.
It sounds like opportunity.
Yeah, they did it like a year ago. I thought.
And was it just PlayStation Plus, like all three, or just the basic one?
It was all three. It's all three tiers.
All three of them. All three, yeah.
I think they all went up by like, I think $20, $20, I think.
It's weird that they did it at the same time because it's, I would be shocked if
they did it for cover because there's no reason for this.
And did they do it during the Switch 2 talks just to hope that it got drowned out by the Switch 2 prices?
I mean, they done that because hey, look, I've blamed Sony for doing shit like that before. I still say when people realize that, hey, now you have to pay for online for some PS4 and nobody noticed because they're in the middle of embarrassing Xbox with that whole, this is how you share your games. And no one noticed in the fine print, there's no more free version of PlayStation Plus. You have to pay for PlayStation Plus.
It's weird too because you still can voice, like you don't even need PlayStation Plus to voice chat, and some of the features you would think would be locked behind PlayStation Plus. But honestly, it could just be Sony trying to recoup some of their big loss, obviously with Concord and some of their games. They're not having any real games other than Astro Bot.
They ain't got no games, so they got to make some money somewhere.
So I'm gonna guess that's probably more related.
What's left to port to PC at this point too? That's the other question.
There's a couple more.
Well, that's why, I think what they did, especially since they didn't increase anything for the U.S., I have a feeling they're worried that the U.S. would not respond well to a price increase compared to other countries, probably. and so they just
Really?
But also they've been
Very
stockpiling. It also reports are out
go
that
ahead.
they've been stockpiling PS5s for months in the U.S. So it's like you can't really
don't really-
justify it right now.
Yeah.
It's almost like,
if-
but do you do the gas price thing? Yeah, they instantly raise the price of gas, even if it's not the barrels that they just, that are in the damn tanks. It's not the gas they buy. It's just the price goes up immediately. That's just a different example where it's not necessarily they don't have to wait for the new gasoline to come in the truck.
Yeah.
They just raise the price but yeah, it's
I mean, hey, one thing I will say. Well, actually, I mean, because it is a weird generation where I think there hasn't been like a price decrease for any console essentially. There's only been price increases for everything essentially, other than some obviously holiday sales. Like if you notice, but luckily the U.S.
We haven't
hasn't
had a
been
price
affected by a
decrease
lot
since,
of
like,
these
mid
as of
PS4
now.
era.
not like a permanent price release, but the PS5 we
Yeah.
got for retro was $420, and there was a Spider-Man
Yeah.
2 bundle for a long time that was like what was it, 450?
Yeah, it was like it was literally
That's
a
what I'm saying. I
steal.
noticed it's the U.S. and I really do have a feeling Sony just doesn't want to mess with the U.S. in terms of like
Because that's
probably the
literally where
biggest
they've already abandoned Japan. Like literally, this is like their make it or break it territory. So this is the I don't want to fuck with y'all because I mean if I lose y'all,
There may not be a comeback if I fuck with you.
although I did see I looked in I think it was Australia and New Zealand. Dog, the prices for games over there
Dude,
are
Australia's
absurd.
I'm sorry to cut you
It
off.
went up by $100.
It's ridiculous. Australia's price and everything's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, good God.
I wonder what the exchange rate
Yeah.
is because there's a home theater guy, and he was reviewing like the high end JVC projector, and it's like 25,000 in the U.S. and he says like 44,000 Australian dollars. So I don't know.
Yeah.
What
The reason why I even bring up Australia because there was a guy I ran across who did this like boycott Nintendo video and was talking about various things. A lot of it feels Australian based because they were like, well, now Nintendo games are $104 in Australia. I'm like, well, how much are PS5 and Xbox games? Well, they're about 139, 120. I'm like,
Yeah, but
what?
what's the living wage in Australia? That's what and all
I
that
don't-
stuff.
if you're gonna
No,
live in
actually.
the Australia, you better be making.
We look at it and we
Huge.
think, oh, $104. Yeah, that's $104 to us. What is it to them? What is it? No, that's
Well,
Hey, man,
apparently
listen,
it's a
'cause-
lot because it's just like I know for some of them I know some countries get really fucked. Like I know I think it's Steam where like was it Argentina some country that doesn't make a ton of money that they just put it into like instead of converting they just put you're paying in US dollars and that just screwed them over and essentially no one could afford like any games and it's like Jesus.
Well,
So it's it depends, I don't know, it's
104
weird.
Australian dollars, just straight conversion is 66 US. So
Yeah.
it's
You gotta look up. Well, you gotta look up like the average.
so if they
wage
charge
Yeah, but then again,
104
the
U-
wages is different.
yeah, if you charge
gotta
if they're
look up
charging
the average wage in
104
Australia,
US,
though.
that's 162. But the guy I know, like the home theater guy, he lives in Sydney. It's just like any other
They
major.
also have universal health care, so
It's just like any other major city. Everything's expensive. So he makes
Also,
his
the reason
home
why they
was
have
like
universal
one.
health care is because every animal in that country tries to kill them. Okay.
Yeah, well, his home. He said his home is worth 1.5 million, and then he can have that, and then have $100,000 theater room. So
I don't hear nothing about it. Listen, when you got spiders that can jump across rooms and dig tunnels in your house, and kangaroos that can dog walk you on a daily basis, bitch, you better give me
what is-
universal health care. That's insane.
forget about the snakes too.
But I will say, remember
Fuck
we
the
were talking
snakes.
about like Canada. I remember Canada when I was looking up the average wage for
Well,
Canadians.
England doesn't have
they're not like far ahead, and so like they generally just have to pay more. Like they generally are like
But
for
that-
everything obviously, but it's like they don't get paid what you would think the wage would. You know what I mean? Like in number of hours, you're like, ugh, you really are paying a decent amount, man. In Canada, I don't know what the hell they're doing there, man.
But again,
Yeah, I don't-
like you can't like the argument like oh whatever it was the Switch whatever the PS5 I think it was it's $1,000. Well, that's just the conversion rate. It's
No, but you got to take. I looked up the average wage.
Yeah,
of
but
a
I'm saying
Canadian,
you
so if they
can't-
do per hour,
because Canada
and
and
then
U.S.
what we
are
do.
like neighbors. You can't it's the same price. It's just if they make less, whatever. But just because of the exchange rate, they're the same price. Just because the Canada number's higher, but if you converted that to
No, no, no,
U.S.,
no. No. You think about it in terms of the number of hours.
so
you
what are they
work.
supposed to do though?
Literally,
They can't sell it cheaper because Canada's average income's lower. Because then everyone in Michigan, it's a 3 hour. In Detroit, it's a 10-minute drive to Canada. You go there, buy all your shit because they have to lower it. They have to match the U.S. price, unfortunately, for Canada.
crazy though.
And then the exchange rate. It used to be way closer. Like it's like 1.38, like
They're
a
gonna be
dollar.
a state soon anyway. So
a dollar Canadian or a dollar Canadian's like 60,
this man, dog.
60 U.S. cents, and it
You
used
do.
to be when I was a kid, a Canadian dollar was almost the same as U.S. So whatever they did with their
I don't know what they did, but they got literally like the average. It's literally the average wage of the U.S. But they are literally, that means they have to work more in order to buy a game, like literally. So it's like sucks.
again, yeah, you can't. I mean, it sucks for them, but you can't blame companies for. They can't just lower the price of
I mean,
their
yeah,
products.
but I don't know, man. It just sucks for Canadians.
They can't lose. Yeah, it sucks for the Canadians, but you can't blame these companies can't lose money just so they can sell it to Canada.
It sucks. It still sucks.
I know. I'm glad you understand that though, because you were really baffled by it back then.
No, I know, but that's why I ended up doing a little research. I was like, yeah, they still are like they have to work more in order to buy than us.
But anyway, let's this was going to be the starting topic if Retro was here, because we have a new wrinkle in the Switch 2 edition discussion, because I don't know if you remember, he was mad at us because he thinks that disclaimer was so crystal clear that
Yep.
how are you confused? This is it. And who was it? Marvelous?
Marvelous, yeah.
So they released
Room Factory,
the
yeah,
info. Is it Room? What game specifically? What's the exact title?
It was Room Factory. Yeah, it's Room Factory.
Which one though?
The newest one? I don't know. I'll look it up.
Hold on, I had it in my thing. Story of wait, you're talking about is it Story of Seasons? Hold on, let me make sure. It's
let's see.
no Room Factory Guardians of Azuma.
So I don't know if you heard. I don't know if you saw this, T, but they're saying that the Switch 2 edition of their game is a 64 gig cart. It has the Switch 1 version of the game, and it has the Switch 2 edition upgrade data. And you can take the cart, you put it in a Switch 1, plays the Switch 1 version. You put it in the Switch 2, plays the Switch 2 edition, just like Xbox Smart Delivery. And they detailed it, so that's exactly what they said.
That's the one thing you gotta. That's what's really cool about it, is that you just put in the game, it works.
So you buy
like it should.
Yeah, and so now that begs the question. We're rereading the disclaimer, and Clocked It went to the Nintendo page, the info page, and it says included the original Switch version of the game and the Switch 2 upgrade pack on the cartridge, and then it says the Switch 2 edition is not playable on a original Switch, and sounds like they mean the Switch 2 edition of the game, not that if you buy the Switch 2 edition. So we're still unclear on how it works 100%. It hasn't been confirmed, but it sounds like Smart Delivery versus what we thought.
Want me to read exactly what it says?
Whose fault is
It says, what is the physical Nintendo Switch 2 edition? The Nintendo Switch 2 edition is a red 64 gig game card that includes in full the Nintendo Switch game and the upgrade pack. There's no need to download the full game. Simply insert the card into either a Nintendo Switch or a Nintendo Switch 2 console, and the correct version will launch automatically. Like most modern titles, there may be small updates and patches available at launch to provide minor fixtures and improvements. But rest assured, the complete game is on the game card, ready to play from day one. That was from the developer themselves. That's what they say.
And that sounds amazing. Like, that sounds like you should be making that clear.
So you should look
during the treehouse, during whatever, during your marketing, instead of this stupid, ugly disclaimer that leaves it up to interpretation. By the way, what's up to Jazzy Jefferson? I don't recognize that name. Yep. If it's
that's someone, he's been in my chat before.
Okay, we got Visor, everybody here, but if that's how it works, that's completely different situation than what Retro was really adamant about. He's crystal clear. I know he's gonna get mad.
Yeah.
Is that he thought it was the Switch 2 cartridge, Switch 2 game, and for whatever I can't remember why he said the disclaimer was
It
there,
has the
but
upgrade pack.
upgrade packs on the cart. But it's like that just left it open to what does that mean? Like why?
Yeah.
Why? But if it's
In
just
the disclaimer, is Nintendo Switch game and upgrade pack, as if it's something separate.
I figured they
and
did that just so they could say, yeah, these are two things added up to make $70 or $80. That's what I said last week. But if it's just smart delivery, then that's really cool. Like I'd consider buying the Switch 2 edition even with the disclaimer if it works that way, because then you have a cartridge that has both versions on it. Like that's I mean, I'm not saying it's worth going out and spending $80 for Tears of the Kingdom, but it's still better than what I thought it was. So I hope that's the case. And Nintendo, again, who's to blame? You can't blame anybody but Nintendo. We still aren't 100% sure what it. But
no, that's fair.
Marvelous made it sound, I mean, crystal clear. Obviously, you're not going to put that on the box,
clear.
But you could put that on the listing. Put it on.
Should be that easy.
I think the companies who are like, listen, there's money to be made. They made a lot of money on Switch. Are like, we're not playing these games, bro. I want y'all to buy this shit like day one. And so Marvelous was like, hey, here's the entire experience. No matter who, you're essentially buying two versions of the same game for one system.
That tells me too that it's a couple gigabyte upgrade. It's not like like a whole separate. Let's say the game's 80 gigs, just in general, not for Switch, but just in general. It's like the PS4 game of Immortals Phoenix Rising is 60 gigs. You put in the PS4 disc, and it's a free upgrade, and it has me download the PS5 version. That's 75 gigs, and then I can download the PS4 version for 60. There's no, it's not like 60, then you download an additional. It's a completely different file. And that's kind of what I was thinking the Switch 2 editions might be, but it sounds like they're not. So, but again, why are they so bad at getting these things out there? Like, couldn't Krista think it's because they haven't had a new system in 8 years and they're just rusty? But they've had a bunch of games come out.
That's ridiculous. That's
not a good excuse.
I know, but they they work with Nintendo.
Excuse.
They know how it goes, and they think that everybody was just a little. It's been a while,
Well, I also think. I mean, I could see them being terrified because the Switch, because of the Wii U situation. So they're like, we need to make sure this is so differentiated.
But no one was confused about PS4, PS5 versions. No one was confused about Switch, Wii U versions. I mean, maybe because the cartridge is the same, they feel a little extra.
This is a Nintendo problem.
Because you really Switch 2 edition, Switch 2 box is all you need. You don't. But if it does playable on Switch 1, then you'd want to say playable. That's where you want to say
Switch 1 and 2, and then you get some people that pay a little extra money because they didn't know,
Or they could have been really like if Iwata was around, I would see there would only be one version, one box on the shelf, and be the $70, and you'd play Metroid Prime 4. You have a Switch, you get Switch 1 version. When you get a Switch 2, you have the Switch 2 version. It should just be one box on the shelf at that point, if that's how it works. And they should be the same price. Yeah,
but at least have it'd be nice to have like something that says Switch 2 on it, like a reversible.
Well, it could say Switch 1/2 or something, or have a reversible cover. I think the thing is, there's not gonna be a lot of these games. We know Pokemon.
I think there are.
And then next year they announced, what are those Switch games they announced? Rhythm Heaven,
Tomodachi Life, and
Tomodachi Life. I'm gonna say right now, those are the Nintendo Switch 2 editions for games that aren't out yet. Those 4. You're not going to get
I don't think though. I'm going to say they won't even have a Switch 2 edition for those games. I think they'll just have. I think if maybe Tomodachi Life, but I don't think Rhythm. I don't think Rhythm. You think Rhythm Heaven's going to have a Switch 2 edition? I don't think so. What are they going to do? I guess they could add it like Jamboree TV, like something like that, where they add new content.
It's just going to be able to take care of the use of the camera. It's going to use mouse control, something. And
maybe, but Rhythm Heaven is just a one-button game for that one thing. So I don't know if I think Tomodachi Life I could see, but I think Rhythm Heaven it's just a Switch 1 game, and you have
going to run at 4K native.
Rhythm Heaven? I mean, you definitely don't need it. but like I think honestly, like I was thinking that I actually think we're gonna get a decent amount of Switch 2 edition games, and we're all gonna be annoyed in the next few years. That's what I think.
What'd you?
If you notice, look at the list of games that are free upgrades right now. Whatever is not on the list has a very high chance of being a Switch 2 edition. That's
Yeah.
what I think. And I think we're all gonna be like, "Fuck! Where's a new 2D Mario game? Why is it Super Mario Brothers Wonders Nintendo Switch 2 edition?" It's
He's
gonna
looking a little thinner there.
No, he's just not lagged the fuck out. That's what it is.
No, it's just the portrait.
But like if you look at what's backwards compatible, like free
It's
upgrade,
weird. I don't know if he's just about to talk about the free upgrade. Oh, go ahead.
He's got things to do, man.
It's a weird
Does
list.
you know what games are not on there? Super Mario Brothers Wonder. I wonder why.
Why don't you tell us which
thought
ones
this
are?
was-
Because I know ARMS for sure.
So I'll tell you which one. There's not a ton, right? So
Odyssey.
it's ARMS, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker,
What?
Super
That
Mario
gets one?
Odyssey. Yeah, Super Mario Odyssey, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury,
Well, that needs
Clubhouse Games, the Link's Awakening,
that needs
Echoes
it.
of Wisdom.
That needs it.
Which those two like that just super.
I think they're
helpful.
pretty much all going to be games that have some issues, either the frame rate or maybe the resolution has to take a
Mhm.
dip or something. Because
Then you got Game Builder Garage, New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe, which is so
that better
Really?
have like 120 frames. There's
that's
no,
probably they advertise that in the thing, and that's
Yeah.
what I think that's what
That's
it's
how I
gonna
feel
be.
about ARMS because I'm like, what the fuck am I doing with ARMS?
I think
Well,
it'll
it's
feel.
also the
I think
resolution.
ARMS could definitely boost, but again, you got to have a TV to take
Resolution.
advantage. And the
And
resolution.
then these are the ones that need it: Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
We'll
and
see how
then,
that goes.
But those are free upgrade. Those need a Switch 2 edition. Like those need
I
like
mean,
a-
you would
They're
think
not
so,
going
you would-
to because they're about to release another generation. I'll be real with you.
You would think if it's a free upgrade in terms of just the frame rate, you would hope it would lock at a 30.
yeah, but
right?
We'll see.
that game
We'll
has
see.
more other issues with like really low quality textures.
We'll see.
and-
I'm not giving that any. I need to see that.
And then last one is Big Brain Academy, Brain versus
What?
Brain.
Why is that?
Yeah, what is that
can
going to
you-
do in terms of like? I actually really enjoy that game. I
I
enjoy
mean,
it.
what you gonna do? Play it at 4K?
Why
I
isn't
know-
Age
I
of
saw it was
Calamity
playing-
on there?
As someone who's that is true. I didn't even think
That
of
is. It is where
But
Age of
that's what I'm
Calamity is
saying.
in line.
whatever game I did not say. I think has a very high chance of a Nintendo.
So the majority of the library is what you're telling
If
me.
they start,
majority
if
of
they
the
pull a
Bayonetta
Sony,
3, Age of Calamity, Super Mario Wonder, anything and everything is on the chart. If it's not on here, they're gonna resell it. That's what I'm like, and we're all gonna be
or
annoyed.
the $10 upgrade.
I'm just not gonna
obviously.
pay. I'm not gonna buy the
Well,
majority. of that
resell
crap.
plus a $10 upgrade.
I hope
I would
that's
be
not
annoyed
the
if-
case.
We're about to get Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze again.
Some of Bayonetta 3 just needs a patch so it can run at lock 60. Modern
Yeah.
Vintage Gamer proved it was just a memory bandwidth thing. There's a
Well, you know what though? Now I think about it, if we're looking at this, these are only games from Nintendo, so it's not like it's like
that's true.
I know it's Nintendo published, but it's not
Mhm.
like So maybe that's the case. To be fair.
Yeah,
Maybe
because
that's
like for things like Age of Calamity, that is technically still what
Koei
Tecmo.
Koei Tecmo, and Bayonetta
Yeah.
still would be like a Sega / Platinum thing. So
Yeah. So maybe actually maybe you'll get those like separately.
They definitely some of those games could really use just a. It doesn't need anything. Just I want the frame rate to be good. Like that's all it needs.
That's it.
Really.
Literally.
If the resolution's higher, that'd be fine. But I'd rather just have, like, I'd play through Age of Calamity again, probably in anticipation of the new game, if it gets a free upgrade. So, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, man. I see that list and I'm like, oh shit.
But if they got a Mario Wonder Switch 2 edition for
Mario Wonder
$70,
that one just seems dumb.
Metroid Dread Switch 2.
Although
if they-
look, I guess to be fair, think about it this way: if you have the game already and it's essentially new DLC, let's say it's a few new worlds or something, and it's $10, I might buy
but
it.
if they add new
You know, if-
content, then that goes into the $20 category. So
Oh yeah, that's right. I mean, but if it's a decent amount of content, like it's just viewed as DLC. Don't think
Yeah.
about like, oh, I gotta buy it physical. So
It
it
better
depends on
be-
you, I guess.
yeah, it better be basically worthy of a DLC to.
Yeah.
But it's going to be
No,
interesting.
of course.
We'll see. I don't. That's the one area I don't have faith in Nintendo. But this price and let's talk about the Mario Kart World Direct. T and Terrell have no
Uh,
idea, have zero idea what you guys thought, if you even watched it. I gave
Yeah,
my
I watched it.
in my opinion, like just from I watched like probably 10 different impression video people who just reviewing, discussing, and the general consensus for all the ones I watched was pretty much the same thing. But you know, just debate and seeing other debates, it seems like correct me if you feel like this is a bad assessment. I do feel like some people are like, well, the game looks great, so the direct was great because the game looks great, and I'm like, the game looked great, but you know, I'm questioning the motivations or the need. Like, I'm not really questioning the game itself at all. Like, it's not even a question. The game looks amazing, and but yeah. So Terrell, why don't you start? What did you watch it, and what did you think?
Yeah, I watched it. I remember a friend of mine is a bigger Mario Kart fan than I am by like a country mile, and the way he described it is if you were someone who cares about Mario Kart immensely, this direct did nothing for you. Like absolutely nothing for you. It feels like it was a direct for someone who wasn't up to date on Mario Kart World news. Because there were certain things in it like the new tricks and everything. That stuff is stuff that a casual wouldn't have noticed off the bat. And even by that metric, it's still probably the weakest direct in a long time. Like I watched it and I rewatched it recently and I was just kind of like, yeah, I don't care. Like, I couldn't be. It wasn't even like I was like angry or anything. I just didn't care. And my first question was, why did you act like this was a bigger deal than it was? I think you could have just put this out as a video, as an overview trailer, which is what it feels like anyway. And you know what got me more excited? The fucking the Paul Rudd Nintendo Power commercial thing I saw recently. That was a crazy reference. That was cooler to me than this. And that, once again, it's not saying anything about the game. I couldn't be bothered. I was like, all right, cool. It's there. Woo. That's how I feel about it.
I'm trying to find the Bill Trinan quote because
man, that Trenton quote was trash.
I feel like Nintendo themselves.
I wish he hadn't have said nothing.
Hyped up.
Hopefully it's different than I remember. What I remember was
the audio's a little rough there.
Like a roll.
Try it again.
He's grumbling in the background.
Oh no.
I can make.
If they don't talk over you, I think would be fine.
Hold on.
This probably means he should enjoy his vacation.
Far away.
I raised the volume on my end so people will be
It's like, oh God.
Is that any better?
No, it sounds like it's like far away from you. Like, is it connected to something?
Wait, what's covering the mic? That's usually that's what it feels like. Something's covering the mic slightly.
There's nothing covering.
I hate all of this. No, I feel like he should have just enjoyed his vacation. That's what I feel like should have happened.
It didn't sound any different when it got closer. That's why I'm wondering, is it connected to
That's
Yeah, I
what
don't know if there's something else. Are they connected to somehow on mic somewhere else?
Yeah, it's now I can't.
Now I don't even hear you.
This is a terrible position to be in at this point. I want someone to be in the back. Like I feel like we should reassess our situation and what we should do because this shit is not it. Cut it off.
Why can't I just?
The Bill
What you
Trinan
do?
I found his interview
Man, who?
with like just on the Switch 2, but like specifically Mario Kart.
Oh, Bill said that bullshit about it being like a genre defining.
Like wait for the direct.
I don't think that's bullshit. I would consider.
You know what the problem is? You can't say that and then give me such
He
a
made it
mediocre
sound like the
direct.
direct was gonna be like some. There's gonna
Direct
be
was
some big
gonna change
revelations,
the
but I need to
game.
find the actual quote and I can't.
And you know what my revelation is?
Bill
Bill Trey needs to stop lying to people.
If they were to do a revelation, they would have to essentially reveal the game. Like that was the revelation, was the
But
reveal.
we,
You know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
we talked about it. I listened
was
to
a
people
bad
theorize
revelation.
on the third mode that was going to be, or what the open world, or people still talking about what are you going to do when you drive into the next track, what that's going to mean. Like, there's just so much weird, like,
The only thing I did find out, but it wasn't through the direct,
Oh,
ironically
let's
enough,
see
is
what
that
it is. I don't
you
even see
can
what-
change it to where you don't have to drive to the next track. You can just
well,
go
just
from
in versus mode. But yeah, but I'm serious.
Yeah.
Like, even after the direct, people who didn't watch the Treehouse were like, I forget who they were talking. I don't think it was Good Vibes. It was somebody, there's a couple people, and they're like, "Oh, I wonder what you're gonna do. Is that gonna, if you race to the next track, is that gonna change the positioning? Or are you gonna be able to get a power up to start the race?" You know, people trying to theorize it. No, it's just you just race immediately. It's the next race. It's
I
just
don't know why people are still confused about that.
because that's
that part's just obvious. I
they're
don't know.
not saying
All right, I'm
you're
back,
not.
and
Oh,
I'm black.
there you go. We can hear you. They didn't
Yeah,
say you're
I'm
gonna
back. I'm
race
back.
to the. They
Welcome
just said you get
back
to
to
drive
Men
to
in
the next
Black.
track in the open world. Like, I just figured just free roam. You drive. Maybe there's a time limit, and there'd be some reason to get there first or something. You know that, and people are theorizing. So obviously it isn't that yet clear. But anyway, T,
was
why don't you
bad.
talk? Why don't you give
Yes.
us your thoughts on
Hey,
the?
where do you get the mic from?
I bring my mic everywhere.
What the fuck?
You
Why?
do some interviews later.
What kind of conversations going on that you need this
He's
mic,
interviewing his
man?
family. He's interviewing his family. What
I'm
you
feel
a
like he was
filmmaker.
gonna-
You don't
Go ahead.
leave home without a microphone if you're a filmmaker.
I feel like he's about to go interview people in Florida. Be like, all right, listen.
What do you think of
How
this
you feel-
Nintendo
how you-
Switch? Nintendo
How you, feel
Direct.
about, how you feel about Nintendo Switch 2? I believe the Gators are real Gators, and that's
Will you be pre-ordering this Thursday?
You getting the
Except
Mario
it's still
Kart
a-
bundle, or are you gonna get?
tornadoes are a myth created by the government.
Is that your Florida man voice? Is that what that is?
Yeah, don't worry about it, man. You have too many questions.
Yeah, I mean, I happened upon Juice's comment in the chat here, and I wholeheartedly agree. I watched the direct, and nothing in that direct justified the $80 price tag. I was hoping for that. I was waiting for that. I purposely kept that out of being one of my like the bad, because I have the good and I still haven't freaking uploaded the video. But the bad side of that came out of the Switch Direct would have been like the Mario Kart price tag, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna wait and see if they justify this price tag, and they not even came close to it. I completely agree with Terrell saying the Paul Rudd commercial was way cooler and felt way better than anything in that direct. What a sad, because you look at this game, you're like, there's got to be like some cool stuff that they could have went over. There's got to be a lot of cool things that we haven't had in Mario Kart games, and it was just like the laziest not reveal, but just the laziest direct we could have had. I'm thinking back to like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's direct, or excuse me, Mario Kart 8.
And we got
Direct
cheesy
for
radio
Wii U.
voiceover guy too, which I'm
it
getting
was
sick of
like-
that guy.
Yeah,
That
bro.
wouldn't have bothered me as
Like,
much if the information was interesting. Like I can forgive some Nintendo cheese if you give me like some cool information. I'm like, bro, and someone even said in the chat, it was like it's an overview trailer disguised as a direct. It's just overview.
I don't even see it on their
Totally.
channel. The direct.
Do you not?
Is it under live? Maybe. Yeah. It was
Yeah,
under the
probably.
live.
Yeah, it was on the live. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get some people are.
It was a nothing burger, as Game Explain called it. It was a complete
Absolutely.
nothing burger.
Like I said, if you're a Mario Kart fan, you already knew all of that shit. Most people were theorizing immediately when they started seeing footage from the treehouse, which was like a week or two beforehand. So this didn't do anything if you actually cared about the game. The only people who would have kind of cared is the people who weren't following it. And it's just like, hey, Mario Kart World.
Yeah.
Mario Kart World.
We'll give
I watched all
Robert.
the
We'll
tree-
give Robert
tree-
his.
treehouse stuff.
Okay,
And,
Robert, give us a different. Give a different
But
perspective.
yeah, I will give you a different video because obviously I am on the other side where I saw this direct and I got what I wanted. Where I think people were, I personally feel and I genuinely believe that they could show off that that these characters could come out of the screen and suck your cock, and people would still think it's not worth $80. So in the end,
No, we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that.
I really think so. No,
your
I really think
perspective
so.
on the
I don't think
direct.
that's the point.
I really think so.
No
I don't
strong
think there's a
arguments.
single thing that they could.
What
that
if they
could
said
somehow do.
That's not. I don't think that's the
no
point. The
DLC,
point
no
is-
paid DLC
No,
ever?
that's-
We include. Hold on, no. Are we included in those people who would fellatio? And, you can have fellatio and still not be excited? Because we're saying that we didn't see anything that was exciting. Don't focus on the people, the straw man people you're talking about. Focus on what you saw, and then people like us, what you thought we didn't see.
For me, I mean, look. In the end of the day, I got exactly what I wanted, which was, holy shit, there's gonna be hundreds of missions around the thing, around the world, and that's huge to me because we didn't know about that. And a lot of people like to talk about, oh, the DS mission mode, we want, and we finally get that, but we're gonna get like 3 times the amount of content for that, and it's not stuck to a track. And people really have rose-tinted glasses about mission mode in Mario Kart DS because a lot of it was like go through the gates in racetracks, but now we'll have an actual open world where they could create little obstacle courses out of every little segment.
I'm gonna say one thing. I want to say one thing.
That's huge.
There's one thing they could have said that I would have helped a lot. You know what would have helped? You know what would have helped a lot if they had just said this one thing. If for the duration of this game's life cycle, every piece of DLC for people who pay the $80 is free. That would have helped.
That would have changed.
Yeah, for sure.
That would have helped. That would have helped immensely. If people had just heard that the game support that this game gets, or even announced a $60 version or a $70 version, that would have helped so much.
Okay, so
see how many seconds it was.
So here, 2 things I want to say.
Turn around.
Again, during the treehouse, they showed a lot of the other stuff. You know, the moves, the items, and stuff.
But not this.
I know, but so people didn't watch the treehouse. Some of the items and stuff were new. They didn't show.
Yeah, I didn't know
they didn't show us any
feature.
characters we didn't already see. They didn't show us any items we haven't already seen. The newest thing for me was that describing the jump, the boost jump or whatever. Oh, that's cool. And then you can go into wall ride. That's cool. I didn't remember hearing treehouse talk about that.
Yeah, that looks nuts.
But then I see people like counting like, oh, battle mode's here, all great. Like, who expected battle mode not to be there? Like, especially for the $80 we knew beforehand, those modes had to be in there. Like, and then I'm sorry, no one said this. It's a lesser version of the battle mode from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. You get the two modes. You don't get the other 2 or 3 games playable. It was 23 seconds of the direct was the battle mode. So here's my biggest issue with the free roam. It's cool, the idea of it. Okay, and it's like, yeah, is this the is this the basic beginning one, like the first one you're gonna find, or is this indicative of like what they're gonna be? And then
Well, let me ask you, have you ever played the Mario Kart DS mission mode?
Yeah, I mean, that's
because like this is already better than that to me.
But this is what they showed. It's already over. Oh no, there's one more thing. There's this. Okay, so this is what they chose to show you. This is what they chose.
That side is the collectible side of like.
If there's 100 of this, I don't care. Like that's what I'm like. Yeah, there's the other thing.
Right.
Which I don't
you
know.
want to just see what else is
Okay,
there.
so now you're dodging these. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what they chose to show. So does that mean they're trying to hold things back? I'd appreciate them not showing everything to be like. I don't want them to show everything. These are the 2 they showed.
Well, they said hundreds.
But you want them to show enough.
And I'm saying those 2 that they showed, I don't care. Like I don't care about rail grinding for blue coins, and whatever this one is. I mean,
I was getting flashbacks to Mario Sunshine when I saw that. Like, I don't know.
Like
For me,
this
I
is
would
what they chose to
disagree.
show. These are not amazing.
I think about now they got this whole world and they could create every single little thing could be some sort of.
See, I mean,
some
I'm not saying this team can't make cool stuff, but I can only go by what they chose to show. Did they choose to show something that's like indicative, like this is one of the better ones, or is this like we don't want to show them any of the cool stuff? This is just the basic stuff. If it's just the basic stuff, and there's
I could have said that about Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom.
If there's some amazing shit that we're gonna be like,
open world now.
We're gonna get on the podcast. Oh my god, I found this P-switch. It was so cool. It was such a it was gravity defying. It was like all this cool stuff. That's I can only assume that though. Like I don't.
Yeah.
This is what they showed. This is what people waited
We're
2
going
weeks
off based on what they showed
for a
not
direct
what
that's
the
been.
potential of the
The
game.
Treehouse talked about, oh, we haven't showed you anything yet. Wait till the direct. And then Bill Trinan said something along those lines. Wait till the direct. There's so much stuff. Collecting coins, that's fine. In Forza Horizon, there's these little signs you drive through, and I hunted every single one of them down. You know, it's not terrible, but like I said,
would you have played more for the game for that stuff?
To
No.
me,
No,
I am now,
Of course
so I.
not.
They're
They're
how much-
deciding for you that you're gonna like this,
So
and this is gonna be enough for us to charge you $10 more. I don't agree with that.
and this, you know, this is easy too. Like, there's no balancing on these rails. Like, so it's like
You're also avoiding the little Prana pants in the back that they had. There's gonna be something, man. And
look at
that's what
2:10. Was that 2 seconds?
what I
10?
meant.
Is that how long?
No, that was counting down.
Oh, was it?
counting down.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's see it again.
At the end of the day,
Okay, start from 5 seconds. So, if like I said, if these are just the basic beginner shit, and there's gonna be some amazing stuff, I will admit. But this is
also
what.
no, it's not counting down from 5 seconds. It's counting down from even higher because he got a plus 3 second coin.
Okay.
So you need to stop. In the end of the day, this shit is gonna be fucking.
Well,
awesome.
yeah, I mean,
I love the fact
you're
that there's gonna
imagining
be
all this cool
hundreds
stuff
of
that's probably that could potentially be there, but I mean,
Because unfortunately, I
not be
have
there.
faith in Nintendo. They haven't failed me wrong in a single
I want
Mario
like
Kart.
I can only go by what they chose to put in the direct. That's what I go by.
And that's gonna be fun as fuck. You're gonna do hundreds of hours of that, and you're gonna do hundreds of hours of the free roam. The game is gonna be amazing. And I
Again,
have
you're
no doubt
mixing
about it.
the
And that-
game's gonna be amazing with.
You're mixing
Is the
game's
direct
gonna be
amazing?
with all this new stuff's going to be great, and the direct was amazing. I disagree.
So
Yeah.
majority of people were like,
Nobody thinks the game's going to suck. Anybody think the game's not going to be good? Raise your hand. I don't think anybody thinks.
I think it's gonna be the best Mario Kart
I'll say
game.
this. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this for what I was feeling recently. I'm less excited for the game. I'll say that. Personally, I am less
but
excited.
Sonic Man, you know him.
Don't do that to me.
You
Don't do
got
that
Sonic
to
stuff
me.
in there. You got the wall riding, the grinding, the wall,
I mean,
taking
That
That is
different,
surprising.
making your
actually.
own
That is
high
surprising, the
path,
grinding
making
of the
your own high
rails and
path
everything.
stuff, like finding new paths.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. Actually, there
It's
is.
like
something
Sonic
about it.
Frontiers.
You also realize, to me, like I'm gonna be real with you. Even the open world stuff wasn't anything that I was gonna lose my shit over because, well, there are plenty of games that currently do that. If I wanted to do that, I could go get on what's it, Forza right now and have some open world
And-
adventures.
That's a completely different. You could go around in the cartoony world and grind around and do missions like that.
No,
in
don't do
Forza.
that.
Forza
No, no,
has
no, no,
Forza
I
has
said the
some
open
cool
world.
stuff though.
Exactly. That's a completely different thing. There's a more.
I'm not saying the
realistic
exact same thing. I'm
Mario
just
Kart.
saying it's
Forza
designed
has
well.
its
Very
P
different
switches
thing.
though.
Yeah, I understand. I
Very
am
different.
not. I'm not automatically excited by Mario Kart having an open world. That didn't move me much. I was hoping that the direct would say, "This is why this open world thing is cool." I didn't see that.
I think the best thing is-
I totally agree.
The best thing about the open world is just seeing like the water. Honestly, every time they show the water in waves, I get excited. That's really the only thing about the open world that's like got me like super excited to try. There's probably gonna be like there's gonna be some cool stuff. Don't get me wrong. There's gonna be some cool stuff.
To me, every single thing I've seen, I'm like, yo, the amount, the to think about how all the walls you could grind and as you're just driving by with that are not courses and everything you could grind on and so I'm like, they've been working on this game and I.
But
I
again,
have
why didn't
no
they
doubt
show?
about
Couldn't
it.
they show at
Well,
least? I mean, it's 15-minute direct. We already knew about Grand Prix. We already knew about Knockout. That was in the Switch 2 Direct. That was clearly explained. They spent like 5-6 minutes on that. They spent like 2 minutes
They did.
on game
Yeah,
chat.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like
That's why I call
they
it
spent
it's an overview trailer.
80
That's really what it
seconds
is.
talking about free roam. 80 seconds total it was. And only like 30 seconds of it was what you're
That
actually
should worry
doing.
you.
And it's like maybe
That's
if
the new
I'm
thing.
hoping they're just keeping all the cool stuff to themselves. But this is a direct. They weren't going to change it. It was already made. You know, it was already made before the Switch 2 Direct came out. I'm sure.
But hey, they did hint at Rainbow Road, so
And I like they didn't show
Yeah,
every
I was-
track.
I
I didn't.
I actually liked it.
I
I'm glad
didn't-
they didn't show it.
I didn't
I'm
want to
glad
see
they
every
didn't show
track.
it.
They didn't show
I
all
don't
the.
need them to show it. I'm just saying that's not some big
Yeah.
gotcha moment.
Yeah, we knew
you got
Rainbow
Rainbow
Road was
Road
going
in
to
the
be
game.
new
No,
versus.
but it's cool that we know that you unlock it by doing all the courses like that. I think that's cool that they teased it like that. Personally,
So is it
I mean,
gonna
it's
be
not some like big. Oh my god, I
every?
get that, but it's
Are
like
you
I
gonna
like the fact that
are
they
you gonna
teased it.
race Rainbow Road after the end of every cup, or just the if you do all whatever however many cups there are? Some people think
What you
maybe
mean?
you do it, maybe Rainbow Road, you do the 4 tracks in the cup and then you go to Rainbow Road. So Flower Cup, you end with Rainbow Road. All of them, every one you do, you end with Rainbow Road. That's what people are
No, they
speculating.
said once you do they said in the thing that once you do all the cups, you unlock Rainbow Road.
So only
They
when
said
you.
in the
But
direct.
did they specify as there retro track cups or just new track cups?
That is no, that's the whole cups, man. That's they. It's literally mixed in. Like the retro tracks are
Well,
mixed
when
in
they
with
showed that
the
map
new
of
stuff.
retro tracks, there's like 20 of them. When they zoomed
That was
out,
the whole thing. When all those cups, it's mixed. Like how they said, you'll have a new track and then a remaster. Like these retro tracks are barely retro tracks at this point for this type of game because they're so like differently, drastically made that they're like
Very different from what the original
super
ones are.
completely different essentially.
let me rewatch
And
that. I thought when it zoomed out to show right here. Was that all the core? I took it that was
I think
because
it's
they
all the
talked about the
courses.
retro tracks and they said find them around the world, and then they showed this map, and I took it as that was just the retro tracks, which I was like, wow, there's a lot of them.
No, that's gonna be all the tracks, I believe.
So is this all the tracks total? I thought it was just the retro ones, but it does just say
Well,
courses.
other than Rainbow Road,
Yeah,
obviously.
yep,
But
yep. Now that because I watched on my phone, so I couldn't see what these icons were. Okay, so I thought this was just the retro tracks, to be honest. But it's
no,
everything. So
it's mixed.
again, though, there's still unknown information, though. I mean, people are asking, is there 200cc?
Of course.
Like, I
Yeah,
don't
they
know.
didn't show it.
That's something that, yeah, it's not going to be a deal breaker, but just some information. So the other thing about it was the time.
Well, I guess if they didn't have 200cc, will they tell us, hey, there's no 200cc, by the way, and continue on with, you know what I'm saying?
But if
can't
they
do that.
don't have 200cc, then why doesn't it have it? Maybe it's just.
No, I agree. I mean, admittedly, obviously you'd want to have everything, but like, this is definitely the game where it would make the most sense to have 200cc because you have this big world. You can kind of travel around it.
And I'm glad, like I said earlier, I'm glad they didn't show every track because there want to be some stuff I see for the first time while playing the game.
Yeah, okay, I get what you're saying.
So
They're
he did say,
reimagined spread throughout the
yeah,
world.
because these are spread throughout the world. So I think these are just like the reimagined tracks. Yeah, this is just the reimagined track. So that's a lot of. Let's count them up.
Huh.
1, 2.
I just don't
3,
want
4,
this to
5,
be
6, 7,
oh,
8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
we've
13,
got an
14,
open
15, 16,
world, guys. Ooh, there's
There's
stuff
30.
to do.
There's 30 totals.
I've never even. To me again. I know. I guess you really don't feel the same. But to me, just the idea of the collectibles, the missions, the fact how that shit, every single thing that I've seen, that looks so well designed that I'm like, they have yet to fail us in terms of Mario Kart that I can't
But
even imagine like
that's all side stuff for me. That's not doing anything for the Mario Kart. The
Yeah,
game of Mario
I get what
Kart.
he's saying. Like,
So-
we've never had an open world in a Mario Kart game, so I don't think they did a very good job on selling the open world in a Mario Kart game as well. Like,
to me.
I think they already did, man. With the, I know you guys don't care. Sounds like you don't care as much. Like connecting all these courses into like they had to think about if they're doing the knockout tour, they have to make one side to another and connect it all in some way. Like I think they did personally, but that's me.
The technical reasons don't mean anything to me. I don't. Okay, it's cool that you did all that, but what incentive is it to have the open world for this game? That's what what is it? How is it making Mario Kart better?
it might be hard to sell.
Yeah.
Like Forza Horizon
Again,
4.
I think it already has. Again, that's for me. I think it already
Like
has,
when I
but-
watch Forza Horizon 4 trailers and all the videos, I could care less. And then I got the game
Don't care.
and I played it, and I'm like, this is the best freaking racing game I ever played. Like, that was hard to convey the awesomeness of that game in the open world and how it worked together. So I'm hoping that maybe it's going to be similar, but we'll have to see. I just think that if they just didn't do a good job of conveying it, like, why is the open world? You disagree, but I guess because I watched the treehouse footage and I was already like, it's just basically the next track is just 2 laps of it is the open world, then you get to the track. It's like that's not that unique, really. It's just basically a
To be
track
fair, that's only the Grand Prix
in the
that you
Grand
keep talking
Prix.
about.
But yeah, I'm
If you're
saying,
doing versus, we're not doing that even. Technically, you could never even play the open world technically by just doing only versus, you know.
and it's almost
But
like,
I think a lot of people are going to be playing Knockout Tour online, and
yeah, I think
playing it.
Knockout Tour.
A lot of people
That's a
love the
mode
battle royales.
that only works basically because of the open world. They could have made just really long tracks, but anyway, there's 30 retro reimagined tracks. That's more than 4 cups or whatever, 5 cups, because there's only 4 tracks per.
So I don't know, man. I don't.
So I think that's something they should have highlighted a
No,
little
because
more.
look at the dinosaur one at the bottom. Isn't that a new track?
I mean, again, that would just be another
Yeah,
fail
you're
of the
right. Though.
direct.
You're right. The way
He
he
said,
says, what he says, yeah.
I mean, I'll play it
But
again.
that's literally not the. These are new tracks also.
They're reimagined and spread throughout the
They're
world.
Look,
reimagined
the
and spread
dinosaur
throughout the
one-
world.
During the day,
These are the
The-
reimagined
I know.
tracks.
I'm getting to like he's also wrong.
And again, at the end of the day, like you were saying, this game, the game itself could. But I'm just talking from the direct perspective. From the direct
Yeah.
perspective, I got nothing. I got nothing special. So nothing that really moved me as far as like, am I going to buy the game? Yes. That's
Yeah.
not in question. But I'm saying we're talking about the direct itself. It didn't do anything. It didn't do anything for me.
And it definitely
Gotcha.
didn't
For me, it hyped me up even more. That mission alone, I'm like, oh my! I start thinking, I'm like, holy shit, there's a lot of hours I'm gonna put in that. For me, but that's for me.
Yeah, and I might end up, like I said, once I play the game, like, oh my god, this is amazing. I'm expecting the racing to be good. I'm expecting the.
And you know what? The direct still wouldn't have done anything for you.
Yeah.
Once we do get all that, at the end of the day, we're talking about the direct here.
When they spent more
And,
time
yeah.
talking about game chat than they did like the open world, like that's.
I agree. Yeah, that didn't make sense.
It was just, and I watch people's live reaction, obviously the re-upload, and they're like, we haven't seen anything new yet. Like,
Okay.
Obviously they showed some courses.
People were like, oh, because to Nintendo, this is a big new thing,
Because it
for
was,
them. So,
they got to, I think they spent more time talking about the modes for beginners than they did the open world.
That'll turn the tables.
Well, they did.
So when you get
They probably
something
did.
that's also
They
very
did.
important to them.
Pauline
why,
in
like,
that,
I mean, at the
in
end of the
that
day, like-
leather outfit though, that's something.
If you're new to
The other
For me,
thing-
like,
Sorry, go ahead.
Jesus
Well,
Christ.
I would say that, like for me, like when it came to like something like Forza, like I literally barely did the actual races and stuff. I mainly just drove around. And what do you do in the in the open world? Technically nothing but drive around.
What do you mean? There's
And
all
I
kinds of
would do
little
is-
challenges throughout the world.
I did not do a lot. I drove around for hours, bro.
Okay, but
Just traveling.
How many racing games do you play? Like straight up
A
racing
decent amount.
games.
A decent amount. Like I mean even recently, especially from this year. Well, this year for my year, 2023. Red Out. I play Hot Wheels Unleash. Obviously Mario Kart, Forza. What else? I mean, there's a whole list. I got played.
What about Gran Turismo, man?
I couldn't
Gran
couldn't
Turismo.
go like anywhere without finding something to distract me in Forza Horizon 4. Like there's either a sign to bust through, there's a hill you can jump off, there's drifting sections, there's you go through and it's like gives you like it's like a speed trap, and you're like, oh, you did 60 miles per hour, and like
That's right. Yeah.
and
I
I'm
would do
like,
those. Yeah, that's right.
so I would
do
drive
those.
all the way back, like half a mile back, get all my speed up to try to set the record of, and I'd spend like 20-30 minutes just on one trying to
Well, that's why I
break a
am
time,
curious as to why. It's all subjective in these things, but you find going back to just press the acceleration and go button to go faster more
Well,
fun
because
than
it takes
bouncing
skill.
between grinding rails.
because it takes
in
skill,
Mario
because
Kart.
you got to dodge cars, you got to make the corners right, you got to like not mess up. Like that's
I get you, but
for somebody who
the-
doesn't
it's
care.
the
I mean,
Skill base is not like collecting, puzzle pieces in Banjo Kazooie, which is what I got from the so-called like.
but again, there might be some really challenging wall jumping wall riding sections.
I mean, there's gonna be hundreds. I totally expect there to be an increment in terms of challenges and stuff like that. And yeah, you could say, well, they should say there will be challenging ones, but like, I don't know.
Really, this felt
It's a
like
video
That's,
game. Like,
that's the thing that you could put in a direct that would make people excited.
this felt like Mario
That's the
Kart
kind of-
101
I
in a
just
lot
feel
of
like
cases.
there will be challenging missions. I expect there to be at least a few. I mean, like,
and it'll
you know,
get more challenging as you go along. Like, because what we saw wasn't, very exciting. But you, for somebody who wants something that's more skill based, here, yeah, I don't think that's a hard thing to say.
There's
Like,
loads
that's-
of modes
you don't,
too.
you're not hiding anything by not saying that. Or you're not, it's,
for sure.
How did you
But
feel
yeah, they
about
did say loads of modes, which wasn't really a
yeah?
loads.
How
of
did
modes
you
I
feel
will
about the battle mode only being balloon and the coin runners?
here's your load right here.
T.
admit.
I know we played it.
What was that? Sorry.
How do you feel about them basically downgrading the battle mode to just the 2 balloon and coin runners instead of having the other?
Yeah, it's lame. I don't like that at all.
I thought
But
the,
hey, we
the,
got a big open world that might be cool.
I thought the shine get one or whatever. That to me was the funnest one out of the
Mm-hmm.
when we were playing.
Shine grab, yeah, that was cool.
I don't.
Yeah, I mean,
the
you
jail one wasn't that great. I didn't think.
No, I didn't play that much.
Then there was the coin.
It still was fun though when you played it, but
as
It wasn't that.
someone, unfortunately, like I never really got too much into battle mode, but like they should be there. You did raise the price. There should be everything you already had in your 8 Deluxe in here. And that would make more sense. But like immediately, like I don't know if I'll probably play battle mode once and never really touch it again.
and if
As
you
you
just say more modes are coming to purchasers of the game, blah blah blah, boom, done.
Again, it just
Oh, I guess so.
it felt more like I think the Xenoblade Chronicles X like overview trailer is like I don't know if I'd call Mario Kart that direct an overview trailer. It was more of a, I guess technically overview, but it was
I'd say
like
glorified
Overview is the closest thing I can think to call it. Like, what
because
else?
even like
Because
they
it's
showed
just
what
going over the
they
generals,
skimmed
the
over
basics.
some stuff to the point where well this is a solo direct. I mean now's the time, and it just felt like to me when I was watching I'm like this is for casuals, like this is not for me. That's what I was thinking. I mean I had no
But I would
idea.
also say-
That's literally how I feel about it. Yeah.
And so like Air is saying that too, that like for some reason I think they're hiding like a lot of the movement options, because like what we saw, like how it was in the Sunday one where she like goes off the actual track, grinds around the wall and goes up. I'm like, bro, like people are gonna kick my
and
ass
again,
online.
at this point,
That's
you
just gonna
say
be
this is for
insane.
casuals. Bitch, you sold 80 million copies of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Like, what? Who's up to be a casual? You don't have to talk to us with kit gloves and shit.
And then
like,
at the press
go in.
events, they had the steering assist forced on, like Digital Foundry and Nintendo
Yeah, it's
Life
nuts.
and all the UK guys were like, yeah, you couldn't. I think somebody was smart enough to turn it off at the US one. One was like, yeah, the first thing I did was go into the menu and it let me turn it off. Maybe these people are just not gamers enough to know they can turn it off, or maybe they disabled it at the UK one. I don't know, but they're like, yeah, this is annoying that this
Well,
was the
usually
default.
remember what on the options you just literally press pause and just tap the button
So
and it turned it
either
off.
either some of the UK guys are just idiots and they didn't know how to do that, or they were really like, we don't want people like falling off the track and stuff. Like I
That
don't
and
know.
also to be fair, when you're in that setting, like when I went to the New York one, they only had like an hour or so to play. Like you're really thinking about recording the footage you're doing, and like I could totally see someone playing Mario Kart and forgetting to pause.
That would be
just
the
change
first
it.
thing. I mean, immediately. Oh, okay. I'm gonna see if I can turn this off. But and it's like,
Yeah, but when you're in the heat of the
Controls are
moment,
off,
especially
something's
that type
not
of stuff, sometimes it's gonna go over your mind.
and I've seen
Honestly.
Sandstorm's not here. I left him a comment on the title of his stream was like, is it worth the price? I'm like, why are we debating if it's worth the price and not talking about if Nintendo is justified in raising the price? Because there's no way this costs more than Breath of the Wild. There's no way in my mind. This you can estimate based on their 2 million to be profitable that Breath of the Wild's budget was like 80 million, give or take 10 maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if Mario Kart was half that, maybe 50 million.
I can see that.
I mean, I could see it. I could see it.
Yeah, there's
Like,
a lot of
especially all these years
animations
later.
they had to do. They basically had to build this whole world, high quality assets and all that.
I mean, yeah,
That's
it's a
stuff
lot.
to do when you're making a game. I mean, that's just part
But
of.
here's the thing.
video
Remember the
game design.
days when it was like the previous game would help fund the next game? I don't know if that was actually a thing or just people's theories. I remember that was talked about
I think it was a thing. I think it was a thing to a degree. I don't know how much it is.
I don't know if they were. I don't know They definitely never said that.
No, they
Because-
would never confirm it, but I think that was a thing for a little.
Whether
Well, I
a
feel like,
game-
isn't that every company? You make money and then you put
So
reinvest.
if you just go off revenue estimates of Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it's like $2 billion. So 50 million, 80 million, that leaves like 1.92 to 1.95 billion left over. It's
Yeah.
like they easily funded Mario Kart World's development off Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Oh, for sure.
And then they had tons left over. So this idea that, oh, this game's $80 because it's so huge, there's so much content, there's this and that. It's like, if that content is, P-switch challenges, which range from, collecting blue coins to finding yellow coins and stuff, like, that to me does not... Content would have been, 60 tracks. If you want to talk about content in a Mario Kart game, that's content to me. Yeah, you can knock out two, or you can change from the start to finish, so it's going to be different, but it's still, you're still going to be doing the same corners, the same like it's not like a completely brand new track every time. And it's just like, I don't know. I can't stop thinking about how much money they made off Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and I can't just put that to the side when I'm thinking about this game and the price of this game.
That game was pure profits.
I mean,
Yeah, it's
all the way
billions. And it's like,
Yeah.
I just don't... I'm not seeing... I mean, like I said, maybe when I play it, I'm going to be completely, like, changing my tune. And I hope I am, honestly. And the game looks great. The racing looks great. The knockout suit looks great. The tracks I've seen look great. The animations of the karts, the characters... I don't like that the costumes make it a separate character. There's like 17 pages in one of the shots. 17 pages of 12 characters that you have to scroll through to find your damn character you want to pick.
That's insane.
That's kind of retarded. I hope they change that, because
we can't say that anymore. That's culturally insensitive.
Yeah. And it's like, would $10, would no one be talking about this if it was just 70? I think most people just expected.
I think no one would.
I think the Switch 2, people expected 70 to be the new standard price.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just
We knew it was coming.
It's $10 difference. I get it. It's not that much, but at the same time, I just can't forgive, like, thinking about the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe profits they made, and that this is the game you're gonna be, like, I don't want to say price gouging, but you're going to charge extra for. Like, it's the game they know is going to sell the best, so I can't help but think that they're just looking at it as it's going to be the most profitable game to put the $10 extra thing on.
It just seems cynically business related for them to do this.
No, absolutely.
Which really hurts me for a Nintendo.
It really did. I mean, my excitement for the Switch 2 in general took a huge dip when the pricing came out, and like Breath of the Wild, Switch 2 edition, $70. Yeah, the game, they never really dropped the price on that game, but it doesn't come with the DLC. Yeah,
that's the part that pissed me off.
Now, actually, no, I never thought. But do you think the DLC is even going to be supported on the Nintendo Switch 2? Like, I think that's why it doesn't even come included. Like,
I mean,
think there
it's
is
the same game.
I
guess there is the Master Sword stuff separate.
I really think there's a very high chance that it's not even supported, because I haven't even seen them talk about it. Like, I have a feeling that you can't actually even play that in 4K 60 FPS, whatever.
That'd be crazy.
Like, I have a feeling
because
that makes no sense.
I think it's a total Nintendo thing, and for some reason they just don't.
Because it's still the same world. I guess the different shrines pop up, and there's different shrines.
It's still stupid. It's stupid.
Well,
that would make me even angrier if they didn't upgrade the DLC that I bought. Like, if I want to replay
my DLC runs at like a broken 30. It works at a
You're gonna go from 4K
frames.
or 1440p 60, and then you play the Champions Battle DLC, and you're gonna
go
go
to
back
like
down to 900p
720p.
20. Come on, there's no way.
I'll crash out.
I think that's my theory, man. That is literally my theory.
And the sad thing is that I'm not even gonna like combat your theory there. We're talking about Nintendo, so
yeah,
everything's possible.
This is why I wasn't willing to give them the benefit of the doubt earlier when we were talking about it. I was like,
And I'm fine with the price of the system. I think $450.
Oh, system prices.
Yeah,
fine.
system's fine.
Yeah.
When people were saying $400, I was like, I don't know, like how you get
Steam Deck
even if
level.
it wasn't as powerful as we thought, like $400, that's like $50 away from Switch OLED. Like that seems too close, and apparently it was. It was too close. But what we're getting with the Switch 2 power wise and all that stuff, and obviously you're gonna be getting a lot of games that you can get everywhere else. It's worth the price to me. So I don't
I'm
think
hoping.
most people aren't complaining about the price of the system. It's the accessories and the fucking Mario Kart 8.
Well,
Or, excuse
also, I
me,
mean,
Mario Kart 4.
obviously they have the bundles, so you technically get Mario Kart at $50, right? So do you
Yeah,
think that
that's the route
do you
I'm
think
going it.
business wise, do you think business that like they also felt to put the need for the higher price tag on that a really high,
Yeah,
so you like seal the deal of like introduce them to a digital ecosystem now with your first game, $50.
That's another thing that really
That's not Nintendo.
makes me feel weird about this situation.
I mean,
'cause
hey,
it's
but
like,
that could be the new
you
Nintendo.
could take $30 off, basically, the bundle for
$30
with Mario Kart. Like, how do you do that? How are you doing that if this game is worth $80 on its own, or
Yeah.
the system is worth $450? Like, how are you doing that? Because you're being really cynical with the price of the game.
I wonder.
Game.
It makes me think that that's where the pure profit they made was allowing them to take the hit on world by including it in a
I'm
bundle.
saying, is it a hit? I feel like if you're gonna put out an $80 fucking game,
Well, now it
you
devalues
ain't
the
taking
80.
no hits.
Well,
Or
now
maybe
you
that, or okay,
you,
here's another
you
thing.
devalue people buying the game by itself, essentially. Now,
Yeah.
if there's really, unless that bundle runs out, there's no real reason to buy the game by itself.
Well, you
But
can
you're
think
saying
about
it
it that
probably
way is
will.
that they want to have the price
And the
also
bundle's
a little
very
bit higher,
limited.
so because they're not spending.
Yeah, if
not
anything, I think
spending
they're using the up.
They said that the
upcharging
bundle
price of-
only going to be for a couple months. I thought somebody said.
Well, that's
Yeah, I
gonna be
think
every
if
year.
anything,
I would bet money on that. That's gonna be every
Oh yeah,
year.
oh yeah. We're talking on Nintendo here.
Yeah, it'll be the
They said-
bundle,
they
but
said-
they said that it's going to be like the first 2 months you'll have the bundle, and then it's just going to go.
Well, they said till fall, but like, come on now. The Nintendo with their Mario Kart bundle,
Hey,
they
the
love
way
that
Robert
shit.
did it. Come on now, come on.
But
They
it,
love that shit.
part of me
they love
is
the Mario
just
Kart
like
bundle.
doesn't even wanna, even though it's the only, it's the best value, doesn't even wanna like give in and give them the 500 with the digital and just be like,
Wait,
you know
is
what?
that true?
What?
What?
What Donnie Arts is saying there? All GameStop's letting you take $100 off with a Switch Lite.
Yeah, they have
Yeah,
trade-ins. Yeah,
175.
Yeah,
Yeah, I seen
trade-ins.
that. I
I
don't.
got 3 Switch
That's
Lites.
the thing, though.
I
You
might
got to
do that.
transfer your data. You got to transfer your data over. Like it's my Switch OLED is the only one I have. I'm not going to trade it in until after I freaking transfer the data.
No, but they have it there that you can do a transfer and trade. Like they have a specific
do they?
one for
That'd be-
GameStop.
Yeah, they do.
I want to
They
keep
do.
the OLED
Yeah,
for a
yeah, you can
while.
do it there.
I might
Yeah.
keep it.
Yeah.
I could definitely get more than 175.
I'll keep my OLED. I got 3
Yeah,
Switch
you
Lites.
could probably get more than 175. Yeah.
I might
But,
pop one of them.
I don't know. Anyway, let's. What do you think's going to happen on pre? You think that's going to be super hard to find? You think people are going to be pouncing
think
on
that
that at
bundle
that
is-
price?
I think the bundle might be.
what are we all doing? Like, how you guys are you pre-ordering one?
I'm gonna
and-
try.
and
Yeah,
where-
I'm a
where are
pre-order.
you
I'm
gonna
gonna be.
pre-order?
I'll probably be up. I'm thinking Target for me personally.
Target.
I'm actually
At
glad it
midnight?
got pushed back to now because I wouldn't have been able to jump in. I'd be at work. But now I can do it. So
I'm gonna be up on a Wednesday night.
Are they all
At
going
midnight.
live at midnight or?
Other
I
than
think
GameStop.
I think GameStop's the only one that isn't, which
I think
is
I'm gonna try
ridiculous.
Walmart.
How is the gaming store the one that
Because
doesn't
they
have
want
pre-orders?
you to walk in. They're gonna people that walk in, and then also you could no, but not
fuck
only you
no.
could also pre-order at 11 a.m. online.
I
So-
can't even do that because I'm out of town.
I'm not doing that.
I'm gonna try Walmart. I'm gonna sign in. Obviously, get my credit card on there. Make sure it's on there, and
And Walmart apparently you could get it where they'll ship it to you by 9 a.m. So you get it that same day at 9 a.m. By 9 a.m. the max.
I
Every time
can't. That
happens,
sucks for
someone
me.
lies
Is
to me.
I can't get June 5th off. My buddy has it.
Oh,
work
gotcha.
buddy.
Gotcha. Oh man.
I can't either.
Hey man, that weekend we go play Mario Kart World now.
That's the Thursday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a Thursday.
Oh wait,
Yeah,
no, he
fuck
has.
me.
I have to look at a calendar. What day is because the pre-orders are Thursday. The system comes out on a Friday though, right?
No, because
Yeah. No, the system goes down on Thursday.
Oh, so I can get
No, because I
Thursday
remember
off.
saying it was a weird day.
I can't
so it
get
had to be
Friday
like
off,
Thursday.
so I have to take Thursday off. The day it comes
So
out.
you can get the day.
Well,
You'll
that's
get
weird.
the
So you
day
get
of its
Thursday, but you
release.
can't get Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
So hopefully, like honestly though, if it's just like chaos and I can't
So
get
we
one.
carting that Saturday is what you're saying. We all carting that
Yeah.
Saturday.
So
Supposedly though, I mean, from the talks for literally like 2 years now that they've been stockpiling Switch 2 so they in production so they could, and also
Yeah.
they, like not have scalpers, but they also said that
And-
GameStop supposedly will have 100 in each store, which is a ton. So even in any
Yeah.
little
Well, my
rinky-dink,
store would be-
GameStop will have 100.
that'd be
Rinky
way
GameStop is
too
dink,
very
many.
excited
dink,
about Switch
dinky
2.
dink dink.
Rinky-dink.
GameStop is very excited about
Mhm.
Switch 2. They need.
Well,
a
of course
nice
they are
little-
because they need some
They
money.
probably made
And
a
they're doing
deal with
bad.
them.
They
probably
need
said,
the
"Hey,
money,
100
man. They need the
Switch."
finances. The $5
They
they're gonna
probably
make on
made a
each
good-
console, bro.
Mhm.
I
Probably
keep
made a nice little deal.
I keep seeing people like bring up the low quality screen game sharing thing when it's like,
I don't get it, man.
and it's like, what do you
The what?
expect the Switch 2 to be able to run all those games, have it on your screen at like stream it at full,
It's so stupid. It's
like-
stupid.
just then turn it, don't have it on, and they're like, oh,
Yeah, I don't
voice
understand.
chat. I don't want to see all. Then you can just have your screen be full. Like you don't have to
Yeah,
have
right.
that.
Make
Like,
your screen full.
Exactly.
But here's the question.
it.
Here's some things I think the Mario Kart Direct could have touched on. Like, how many? We got 24 racers. Can you have a 24 person friends lobby where you're just, because the game chat's only 5, so is it going to limit your friends lobby to
I'm
the
gonna
game
say-
chat?
I'm
I was saying, I think
I'm
maybe
gonna
it would
say
be
no.
fine.
Because
It would be awesome though.
if we could
Do we
get,
even know how many people? Do we even know how many people we can have in a game chat room anyway?
it's only 5.
I think it's 5. Like it's 1 and then 4
Oh.
on the bottom.
So we're gonna.
But like, just
so Samsung
imagine
can't join.
us and then everybody from the chat on like Saturday night. We're all in a Mario Kart lobby.
Look,
We all
there's
know each
21
other.
watching, right? We
Yeah.
almost have a full lobby.
We all know each other, like, or we all know, as long as their nickname is something recognizable. Like if Donnie's Arts nickname on Switch is Donnie Arts, then we'll know it's him. But I'm
I
sure
know it's him.
it would be awesome. Like I remember that happened.
Yeah.
We took over a Mario Kart 8 lobby back in the day, where it was all 12 of us eventually because people dropped out and you're waiting to join your friend.
Oh, really?
And we had
I don't remember.
like the Juice Loose guys. I remember Twilight, and back then it was Derek Steelfox. The entire online world lobby was Juice's Loose
cool.
people.
That's cool.
And but if you could just do a 24, like your open world, that would be cool for free roam if you have. But they showed 8 people.
24 people? It'd be crazy.
And they did
But
that.
yeah, 8. That's right. They have 8 people. So to be fair, at the minimum is 8
So
or maximum. I don't
it would
know.
be just cool if you could drive around and then you do races and then different people can race.
Yeah.
Like, but we
Yeah,
don't know
Muhammad,
that.
Come on, bro. Come on. That tells me you ain't paying attention. The Nintendo camera is 1080p.
And it identifies
third-party-
4 faces on one camera. Can
Right.
identify 4
Yeah.
faces and put them on the 4 icons in games.
Mhm.
If you're gonna make an argument again, I would say there's things to complain about. But if
Yeah.
you make
When you got to
complaints-
make stuff up,
complaints,
that's stupid. Yeah.
you failed. You
And the
failed.
Nintendo
Well, that's the thing
camera is
is, like,
$50.
I really think if Mario
Yeah,
Kart
it's only
was
$15
$70,
more, but
I don't think anyone would be talking about anything about Nintendo Switch 2.
I still
talking
think the
direct, but
Direct would
and I
still got
get it.
criticized even at 70. It's just like, why was there a solo Direct? Like,
No, I just mean in general. Like people be talking about the game chat. Like people be ragging on everything Nintendo
Yeah.
Switch 2 because of and I get it. I really do. But like, come on, man. You can't like. It's not like. And at least you got the option of the bundle, and so it makes it literally $30 cheaper. But it is funny that T says now that you could bundle it for $30 less somehow.
Yeah.
Like that's okay.
yeah, that's strange to me. That's been bothering me from the beginning. It's like, what? Wait, $30? I could see 10,
mhm.
20 is it's
Yeah, I
pushing it.
think
But $30 discount.
the
So
best
you
like
tell me Mario
PlayStation
Kart was
discount.
It's
just
only
see,
worth
maybe
$50 if
they-
you buy it with the Switch.
And maybe they really like everyone, because supposedly again obviously these are all rumors, but that 70% of the Switches are going to be the bundle, and so they're going to try to get everyone in to the digital ecosystem of like, hey, look, you got to do 256 gigs here now, so you can start downloading all your game, and maybe they're trying to get people more into downloading.
Terrell, did you say Mario
instead of
Kart
buying
bundle?
physical.
Which one are you getting?
Mario Kart bundle, obviously.
Robert's
If it-
not. Clocked it didn't.
Yeah, I'm not actually.
I'm
not
a little
spending anything
bummed.
else for that game
Clocked it
right
said
now.
he got to pre-order early because he's such a loyal Nintendo fan. I checked my emails, like, shit, we've been on the Switch Online for, I know not consecutively, I haven't been part of it.
Well,
but
we could sign up. Did you sign up for the thing? I didn't do
I
it.
did.
I didn't know
I
you had
did.
to.
You did?
I did.
But you don't get it until early May. like like some sort of thing in the
Yeah,
U.S. In the U.S. It's
yeah.
early
So I
May.
didn't.
Hmm.
So what?
But-
Or so what are you gonna do with that throw? If you get so, are you gonna maybe?
If I get it and
save
one
it
of
for
you
someone
want
else?
it, I'll give it to one of y'all if y'all haven't already done it.
That's true.
So if Juice, you can't
I
get it, I'm
completely
gonna just
missed
give you that.
what happened with what?
Oh.
What happened to
The robot voice. Who used to have the robot voice? Terrell?
Terrell? Yeah.
What? Y'all never told
Yeah.
me.
We did. Sorry,
I didn't
T.
believe you because I thought you
Wait, what
lied.
happened?
What'd you say? What'd you say, D?
What happened though?
What happened?
Talking about
the-
signing up to get like a
the
pre-order
Nintendo?
from Nintendo directly.
Oh,
Galactic got the pre-order
And
early. He
like,
didn't have to
in
wait.
May.
He just got an email and he got the pre-order.
yeah, I saw
system.
that.
So
Yeah,
it's
he's
like,
already got it.
that's
He's
cool.
already pre-ordered it. Like he's good. It's like what? So I'm hoping because I'm in a small town, so I'm hoping that my GameStop will be pretty empty. But I was thinking like I hope it's not gonna be like 6 a.m. people are there. I'm banking on going like just when it opens. I hope people are not like
Yeah,
they're lined up
hey,
across the
they'll be
block.
lined
Like,
up.
what?
I went to my GameStop a week ago, and that bitch wasn't there anymore.
yeah, mine closed too.
That
Oh,
bitch
yeah?
was gone.
Damn.
I was
I still
completely
have
surprised
mine,
by it.
but we'll see how long that lasts.
Now I got to go
I
to a
hope it's
whole
not-
nother
I hope
town
it's
to get
not
that
lined
shit.
up.
That's why I don't want to trust GameStop because GameStop may not exist
Yeah.
long enough.
That's true.
You think it's gonna be lined up, juice though? Like you
I
think it
mean,
should be going?
I guess unless worst case scenario, the pricing scared a bunch of people away and
We'll see.
like the misreporting but again, Nintendo's to blame
Yeah.
with for some of this misinformation. We still
I
don't
will
know
be
what
so
Switch 2
curious
editions
to
are for
see
sure.
what the launch sales will be. I mean, maybe not the launch sales because I think those would be good, but more like the overall year, and
I want
how
to see what
that'll
it'll be by the time we hit Donkey Kong's release date. That'll be the more interesting thing to me.
I mean, it's only a month. It's gonna be good.
I think it'll
It's gonna be great.
if things go the way they probably expect, I think it'd be close to 5 million at that point
Dude doesn't
worldwide.
care.
Yeah, I don't. Actually, I've watched a couple other previews, people saying the same thing, that Donkey Kong just isn't doing it for
Wait, who said that?
Yeah,
him.
I'm happy for them people.
The guy, the
Ain't
one
no
guy,
way I'm missing that.
Man, that's
3D
crazy.
Donkey
the
Kong.
guy that most Nintendo-ish guy that from Digital Foundry, Tom, he covers a lot of the Nintendo stuff. His top 10,
No, that's not.
his top
that's
10
not
games
the-
of the year always has like a Nintendo game near the top, if not number one.
I thought you were talking about
No, Tom, he's like just he played it. He's like it just wasn't
I wouldn't be the
having
one.
fun.
I don't think he was the Nintendo guy. I thought it was
No, he is. If you watch
John.
the game of the years, he's always got Nintendo. But his Street Fighter is like his favorite franchise. But and then
he talked pretty positively about the Switch 2
Yeah.
version.
I forget who else was like, I'm not that excited for Donkey Kong, and I was like, I mean, that was just like the opening area. They didn't really show a ton, so we'll see.
I think the problem is everyone's like, all you do is break shit. I'm like, listen, you gotta relax, okay? We haven't seen all the other
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, I think I think that game's gonna have a great like second trailer, like a Mario Kart or 3D World style.
If it's made by the Mario team, which we still obviously not confirmed, but I feel like it has to be. But then I think so. I think you'll get that for sure.
But honestly, right now, based on everything I've seen, I have no intentions of buying the game. So
That's nuts.
no
Wait,
intention.
for what, Donkey Kong?
Yeah,
Oh, absolutely,
is
you're a liar.
crazy.
from
You're
what
a
I've
villain.
seen at this point.
Put
That's
it this
crazy.
way, I'll say this: if I had to choose between Mario Kart and Donkey Kong, I'm getting Donkey Kong. I would get Donkey Kong first. I want you to understand that. So
But you're not a real Mario, not like a huge Mario Kart guy, right? You've never
That's
been,
not the
right?
point.
Ooh,
The
he
point-
changed that quick. You're not a real huge Mario guy.
Yeah, that was like, I was like, I was gonna say you're not a real
Got him.
Mario Kart, but that doesn't even make sense.
Honestly,
Yeah,
I'm more excited for the Breath of the Wild Switch 2 edition, and way more excited than only games I'm more excited. Mario Kart World and Metroid Prime 4, and then it's Breath of the Wild Switch 2 edition. That's my three most excited things I'm most excited about.
Yeah.
Could care less about
Damn.
Kirby Air Riders. Could care less about this Pokemon. Just not. Just
Well,
doesn't-
I definitely won't be replaying Breath of the Wild on there, but I am still playing Tears of the Kingdom, which I will.
I'm
continue.
gonna
I'm
start.
getting the Tears of the Kingdom upgrade because I still probably put another 100 hours in that bitch. And,
Yeah, I mean, me too. To be
that's
honest.
that's exciting for me. and
I still got
obviously
more
Mario Kart,
underground
and I'm
stuff.
excited for DK. Unlike some of these weirdos.
Well, my goal
Yeah.
is
UK, I'm more excited for, honestly. But that's me personally. I'm happy.
so I finished Legend of Zelda last week, and then I'm playing Link to the Past right now. I hooked my Super Nintendo and my Retro Tank up to my TV OLED. It's fucking amazing.
Mhm.
It's almost almost 1-to-1 as the Switch Online version of Link to the Past. Like as far as image quality, it looks incredible. And so I'm about probably a little more than halfway through that game, and it's interesting playing that directly after Zelda, because when last time I played Link to the Past was like Wii Virtual Console or Wii U, I can't remember. I wasn't in that mindset, and I missed a bunch of stuff. I couldn't find like the Quake medallion and stuff. I was like, "What the hell is this?" I'm finding so much shit because I'm in that Zelda mindset. We're just bombing everything, burning all these bushes, finding all this extra stuff. So I'm just really searching. But my next, after Link to the Past, I'm going to replay Ocarina of Time for the first time since the GameCube 2002, the GameCube pre-order
Damn.
bonus version.
Also, are you gonna go? Where are you gonna play it on?
I'm playing that on Switch Online though.
You are okay.
I'm hoping you
Man,
can
I'm
invert the controls.
Literally playing the bit right now. So,
Yeah. So my goal is to have Ocarina of Time finished. Hopefully by the time Switch 2 comes out, and then start Breath of the Wild over.
Oh.
I don't really.
No, go.
Ocarina
What
of
about
Time.
go play Wind Waker on GameCube?
I don't need to replay that. That's 20.
Ocarina of Time.
What
But
about Mario's Missing? You could check that.
I'm
game
not gonna
out.
play
Oh my
every
God,
game. I'm not
stop
gonna
it.
play Minish Cap. I just played Link's Awakening. Before that, I'm not gonna replay every game, but it's just something I'm really I'm so glad I hooked that up upstairs. I was playing Super Nintendo all weekend. Mortal Kombat's trash. Now I know why the new games suck, because the original games suck.
Jesus Christ! I feel like they came out of
What?
I feel like they came out of
I guess
nowhere. What the
probably
fuck
against
was
playing
that?
against other people's
Man,
probably
wild
fun.
stuff.
The AI is just
I feel
absolute
like we were chilling and we
nonsense.
caught and strays were caught.
I had-
What the fuck was it?
Mortal Kombat 2's
Yeah, the AI was
AI.
always nonsense in that game.
Man, all these fighting game AI is nonsense, man. They kick. They be.
But I watched a
doing that
video on
thing.
how to defeat Mortal Kombat 2 because I never could beat it. And it's just like, you wait till they get just out of reach, you jump backwards, and then they jump towards you, and you uppercut them while they're landing. And like, he's like, that's the best method to get through this trash AI. Because if you let them do anything, they just destroy you. They can grab you in the
But
middle
that's
of
how
the
it is
movie.
on Killer Instinct, man. When I play Killer Instinct, literally like
probably.
Street Fighter, everybody was
weeks
doing
ago.
that shit.
Yeah.
Like, I forget who the dude is, but he like pointed out how it's programmed, it's literally programmed that way to suck quarters out of you and shit. And that's why all those games.
Yeah. Arcade
M.
style.
Bison could stack moves together
Yeah.
no human being could pull off. Like
Right.
one right after the other, nonstop. But Mortal Kombat 2 is especially. I could never beat it on easy. Like it's worse now than it was. I thought I was a kid. I should be good as an adult. I should be able to beat this game. No, I'm getting my ass
Oh, those
kicked.
shits are annoying.
And,
Absolutely.
But
Dude, Killer Instinct, the guy did literally like a 30-hit combo on me. I'm like, what the
I was doing ultra combos when I was playing it. So I had to look
Yeah,
up.
but-
I
Yeah,
agree
you
with
did
that.
on me.
Like, that's kind of what I was expecting. Like a big grandiose story mode that connected this open world that would be more like a Diddy Kong type of experience where you have boss battle races and stuff like that. That wouldn't be. I was like, all right, you got me now. You got me.
We'll get back to that. All
That
right.
would have moved me.
But anyway, just to wrap up, I was playing Tecmo Super Bowl. Looks amazing. It looks way better than it did on my monitor down here. The colors and stuff.
So are you all in, or are you going? We waiting on you to just be like, I'm done with this now. We all waiting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
The
get through
dedication
Link to
is
the
looking
Past.
solid.
I'm gonna keep playing Tecmo Super Bowl. I'm playing through Super Mario World. I'm on just finished World 3, but I'm also trying to go all the secret exits. What else am I playing on Super Nintendo? I picked up NHL 94, but I don't think that has a season mode. I don't think that has a battery on it when I opened it up. But I need some new NES games because I kind of ran out of. So I asked for some ideas. Only Retro Death answered, but he says Bionic Commando. I've never played.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of those are kind of expensive. So then,
Have you never played Body Commando?
I don't think I ever played. I didn't. I don't remember
man.
playing it.
That's that game.
I still got to play Batman. I barely touched it. The original Batman. So.
Oh, yeah, Batman is great. Yeah.
But honestly, I played Super Street Fighter 2, and that's the most expensive. Well, not the most expensive, but out of the games I didn't have in my collection, I just randomly saw it at Disc Trader. It was in mint condition, and it has a dust cover. It was $24.99, and I was like, you know what? I never owned the game, so I pick it up, and the audio is like super compressed. It's worse than Street Fighter 2 Turbo. It's like the voices when the Hadoukens sound like they're muffled, like it's super low. What do you call it? Like the samples are super low quality. The music's low quality. I'm like, I bought a repo box and manual for that game, and I'm like, you know what, this game kind of sucks. So I put on Street Fighter 6. I played that for like 3 hours on Saturday, and just the World Tour. I didn't play anything else. And I was like, man. But anyway. We should probably get out of here.
Super Nintendo version is the best as far as all that sound.
Yeah,
goes.
but
But
Street Fighter 2 Turbo
gonna
has
get-
better sound quality. I think the extra characters, they had probably said we need to compress this to fit this extra content on there. Because even like the when you start the fight and you get the it was like, I was like, what is this, a Genesis game? When I first heard it, it's like, this sounds like echoey, low quality. It's just crazy. But and then he put
It's
on
not fair to Genesis. Some Genesis games has impeccable music. Like
Yeah.
the Streets of Rage series, the music in those games. is
But when they
fantastic.
tried to like reproduce, if there was the same game on both systems, most of the time the Super Nintendo had a clear advantage. But apparently Capcom games were notorious on Super Nintendo for sound issues, so I didn't realize.
Yeah.
But I'm having a blast. Sitting on my couch in the living room on this, the size is cool, but really the colors and the sharpness just blew me away. Like, I couldn't believe how good they look. And yeah,
So you prefer it over like emulating it on a PC or something?
for sure. Like, yeah, we gotta spend $350 to get a scaler to make it look good, on a new
Right,
TV. But it's so far it's worth it.
But it looks good. It looks really good.
And I use the S video. I don't use composite, and that was like $38 for that cable. So
Yeah, S video. That's good.
component to
yeah,
S video, I didn't see much of a difference in any of the comparisons, so I went the cheaper route. But also the S video is a separate input on the RetroTink, so I wouldn't have to constantly switch out for the NES. So that was the main reason. But yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying it. I'm getting through Punch Out. I got to Mr. Sandman, and he whooped my ass. Last week before the podcast. I just randomly turned it on and got as far as I ever got. I was one away from Tyson, and
Damn.
it's good fun. And that,
You writing your codes down?
yep, I got it memorized now. 777-807-3454. I believe.
There you go, guys. You jump right up to the Sandman.
That doesn't get you to Sandman. That gets you to
Yeah, that bout. That
there's
what do you call it?
four.
That tier.
That's and I did it with flawless record, and that game holds up. That game still
I
plays.
mean, hey, if you need the passwords to Mario's Missing, I got that.
Yeah.
For you.
Or you could just go online and Google it.
I don't
It's
honestly
very
what
easy
you
to get
couldn't
that
do
shit
any
now.
that code you couldn't do any better. I'm 7-0. I didn't lose a fight, so I'm wondering if that's universal, if there's little differences in the codes. But and then Contra, I beat I had to do the 30 life cheat because I don't have it memorized as well as I thought, but I beat it on straight through twice, and I had like 4 lives left. Obviously you gain some lives as you play, but
Well, that's how I can beat it with just the regular lives and without continues, because you gain lives, but you have to have some knowledge or memory of that
Yeah.
game.
I'm getting
You
better, and honestly, I died a couple times purposely because the spreader was up, the spread gun or machine gun was up, and I was down, and I couldn't go back. So I was like, I'm just gonna take the hit. So I
Yeah.
spawn up there. I don't think I ever beat it by myself as a kid. Me and my cousin beat it all like constantly. We'd go 3, 4, 5 times straight through, and I think it gets a little more challenging each time, but. It's like, I'm glad I have that game. You can't get that on the Switch Online. You can buy the collection, but I'd
Yeah.
rather have the original. And yeah, just having a good old time. So
Nice.
I don't see it dying anytime soon. Eventually, I think eventually I'll just probably box it back up.
Once you played everything you remember to play, and
Hmm.
you're not gonna get into the new things that you didn't play, which is what you should be doing, Mom.
Well, that's why
You-
That's why I'm thinking of picking up like Bionic Commando, and I was asking for Super Nintendo ideas.
Well, I got you. You need some Super Nintendo.
But I feel like,
ideas.
yeah, I mean, a lot of
Obviously,
Super
there's
Nintendo games are
some that I
pretty
know about,
pricier.
but I'm not paying $100 for.
Right,
like
but
Chrono Trigger.
since you don't mind the
That's
world
more than
of,
$100. That's way more than $100.
repro, then you can get a lot of cool stuff.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
without
That's
paying
true.
Crazy prices.
I did play
That's true.
Secret of Mana back in the day. I beat it. My buddy
Hmm.
loaned it to me, and I thought it was pretty good.
Okay.
Because that was more Zelda-like, I believe, with the combat.
Hagane, I think you would like a lot. Seems like it'd be a game you'd like. So probably check that out.
But yeah, we're talking about my N64 controller. Surprisingly, the analog stick is pretty worn. I took it apart a couple years ago, and it was filled with the plastic powder, and it's quite loose. I don't own a lot of games, but I did play a lot of games through rental and stuff. Like, and me and my buddies, we played San Francisco Rush and Rush 2. I played a ton of, and I traded both those games in. I wish I still had them.
Wait, on what?
On N64.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love
wouldn't play them.
San Francisco Rush,
I don't play them versions.
but Rush 2 was
Dreamcast. Well, yeah, Rush 2 was.
that was exclusive, I believe, to the
I
N64.
think it was
But
exclusive. Yeah.
yeah, I gotta say, I never thought I'd be here with
2049.
with the
Yeah,
retro
play that.
gaming. But it's definitely cool. I got I never even played this. My cousin, when I bought it back, this was in there, and I still haven't tried it. Top Gear, but I put it in the Retro Bright peroxide, and the label started peeling off, and I rubbed it back on with the heat gun, and it stuck, but
alright.
it kind of ruined the labels. I don't know if the game's any good or not. I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah.
But
Now, would you go
Eh.
back and play stuff from like
Top Gear.
I guess, yeah, I mean N64, but would you play like new N64 games that you haven't played?
like
I
new
know the 3D era
releases,
is a little bit different.
I'm not honestly the biggest issue I have with the
No, games
N64.
that are new to you.
The biggest I have with N64 is any type of
It's the anti-aliasing.
third or first person shooting. I tried. I'm sure if I
frame rate.
could spend hours trying to train my muscles, but having the C buttons be your look up, down, and then strafe, I could not play GoldenEye or Perfect Dark. Like, I had it hooked up for about an hour, and 30 minutes of it, I'm trying to play. I just couldn't do it. None of the control methods, even the dual controllers, like two controllers, it still has your right thumb strafing and looking up and down, and your left thumb is moving forward and turning. I guess, eventually I could get used to it, but at the same time, on Switch Online, you can just
You got used to it before. I'm
Well,
guessing. You say you
that's
spent
because
100 hours in
that was
fucking
all
game.
I never played a dual analog game before. Now I got 20 something years of dual analog controls. It's just, is it worth it to try to relearn the controls versus just Switch Online where I can just customize it to invert and just work?
That's what happens when you stop playing the old shit. You
Mhm.
forget how to play games.
But anyway, we'll wrap this up. Probably
I
switch
didn't
to
even realize that there's
Yeah,
a
we're-
human being next to the behind Tia. Is that?
a human being.
Yeah, I didn't even
Oh,
notice
there is a
someone
person
here.
there?
I didn't even notice that.
I thought it was. I did not know that was a leg.
I didn't even realize that. I was like, is that a person?
Put this on camera.
Good God.
But
You just
yeah,
podcasting with someone trying to sleep the whole time.
And he was like, what the fuck? Someone
there's a
cut
cat.
that
I didn't
shit
even
off."
realize my cat was back here.
I thought it was your guard cat, your gargoyle.
She's a little rascal. All right, so yeah, we'll be back. More Switch 2 next week. I don't know what else we'll talk about, but isn't that
We'll talk about our
Expedition?
pre-order stories. our
Yeah,
pre-order
did Expedition
pre-order stories.
33 come out? It's coming out
No,
this
it comes
week?
out the Thursday.
So-
I've heard some
this-
previews that some
I'm getting that
sound.
on Game Pass. No, sorry. Let
Is
me
it
stop.
on Game Pass?
Yeah, it's on Game Pass.
I watched a lot of the
That's how you're gonna play
previews,
it?
and it sounds
Yeah.
like somewhat up my alley, and some things don't sound like
It's
they're
an
up my alley.
FRPG, man.
So we'll see. Oh yeah,
FRPG?
A French
French
RPG. Yeah, French RPG.
we'll see you guys next week.
Sitting here playing this beauty.
Is that?
Lost in Midnight or South of Midnight?
Oh, South of Midnight.
Yeah.
How's that run on there? 'Cause I know that
Runs very good.
nice.
Runs like a